Okay! Back on the proverbial horse. Alright, Higarashi when they cry. Watangashi. Alright, I'm gonna... Alright, peoples. Time to copy link. Texting Karen, done. Over to Facebook. Go to Instagram. No. Don't worry, guys. We will get started very soon. God, it's Darren's online. Okay. Alright. Let's see. Facebook, Instagram, Taryn. Threads should have it already. Yep, Threads has it. Okay, we're good there. Where is Meta at? Leave me alone. I don't want the calls right now. I don't want to be bothered. Oh, goody. I lost my train of thought. Ah. And the people who are interested. Okay. Okay. There we go. And there you go. Alright, now I'll get back over to Twitchy-Roo, and we will get started on the game. Hey Padme love, how's it going? We will get started pretty shortly. Yep, loading the file now. I'm feeling a lot better from being sick. I still have the odd cough and sniffle, but otherwise I'm totally fine. Today, figured I should do some Higarashi, especially with how bad the weather is outside. I have no desire to go outside. This is my last day off before I go back to work tomorrow, and then I don't get a day off till the 23rd. And that's when I have that date with you. As well as the 24th date with you and family going to go see a movie in theaters, which I'm totally looking forward to, especially since I'm happy to be with my girlfriend on Christmas Eve for once. So that'll be lovely. And I was actually just trolling around the store online on Steam, and I discovered one of the visual novels I've been wanting to play actually is out as a remake, or a remake of a visual novel I've been wanting to play for a while, so I'm looking forward to playing that when we're done with Higarashi, all 8 parts. Because I really want to play the Fate Stay Night visual novel, because I just watched a trailer of it and it looked amazing. So yay. Anyways, on with the Higarashi story. Mion-san, she's acting totally strange today. I know the whole story, but it's hard to explain. There are times when girls are emotionally unstable. It's best to just leave her alone. I turned around and I saw Rena calling me from the hallway. I wonder what it was. Keiichi-kun, over here. What is it? Why are you calling me over like this? Is it a secret? It looks like it was a disaster. Yeah. Mi-chan seemed pretty broken, but I somehow got her working again. I'm surprised you managed it. How'd you do it exactly? Same way I do with the television. Just came at it from a 45-degree angle and hiya! Saying that she made a chopping motion. You know, I can't tell if you're joking or not, right? She'll be fine by tomorrow. Also, there's something I wanted you to do, Keiichi-kun. I didn't mean to do anything wrong, I just feel guilty. I'm listening. Thanks. You see, Mi-chan is just gonna pretend the last few days never happened. Never happened, huh? I see, well that's one way to run from it. So you see, Keiichi-kun, could you pretend to? Then Mi-chan can go back to normal. Just doing something as simple as that. Is it really going to be okay? Please, until Mi-chan gets her feelings in order, just go with it. Okay, I got it. Even though I shouldn't have been at fault, for some reason I felt guilty. The one at fault here was the one who knew about the entire situation pretending to be Mion for an entire day, Shion. She never once said that she was Mion. Ugh. What am I supposed to be angry at? Seeing me stomping the ground impatiently, Rena giggled. But Keiichi-kun, you knew as well that Mi-chan had some cute things about her. Rena talked in a calm voice as her hair rustled in the wind. Yeah, I know that she'll never let it be boring. Good. Following that curt reply, Rena looked up the sky and stretched. As long as you realize that, Keiichi-kun, these past few days will soon be nothing more than a story to laugh about. Not being Rena, I began to stretch as I looked at the sky. The clear sky towered into the distance. There's no club activities or anything today. I'm sorry, Keiichi-kun, but for today, can you go home by yourself? It'll all be back to normal by tomorrow, so just for today, okay? Something tells me it's not going to go back to normal tomorrow. I can tell. All it took was for everything to go back to normal was to leave Mion alone for today, then it was an easy decision to make. Got it. I can't say it directly to Mion or I'll say it to you too, so I'll say it to you too. To you. I still feel kind of guilty about it, but so I want to apologize. No. The root of the problem was Keiichi-kun saying something insensitive, right? So if you learned anything from this, you just need to look a bit into gaining a sense of delicacy. Right, I'll try. That day was the shortest day of my life. Rena was talking to me on the whole while accompanying her around the entire time. It looked like a really fun conversation, so I reflectively thought about joining in, but I made a promise not to. It seemed like Mion was trying her best to ignore me, so likewise I did my best to ignore her. For the first time in a while, I ate lunch alone. Mion and Rena ate theirs by themselves. As I let out a sigh in my ash mood, Rika came over to patted me on the head. Both Keiichi and me learned a whole lot. I'd never say it like that. It made it sound like we were having our romantic problems. I didn't like that one bit. Hopefully the teacher wouldn't notice and call us to the staff room after school or something. I'm sure that Keiichi will grow up to be a wonderful adult. Pat. Rika-chan is the studious type, so maybe you'll grow up to be an amazing, wonderful adult. Of course. When I grow up, I'll be super amazing. When I grow up, I'll be an amazing lady, you know. No matter how old you get, you'll still be a brat, and you can put money on that. What did you say? As Sadako snapped her fingers at a watchman fell above, hitting me square on the head. Ow! What did you think you were doing, Sadako? Bang and smash and pinch and squeeze. It was a day I could thoroughly appreciate the value of having friends. And cue the gratuitous violence. Okay. Huh. A lot of scene transitions here. Today was Saturday, so school ended in the blink of an eye. It really felt good to go home with the sun so high in the sky. On any other day, our club would have been up to mischief during our ample after-school time, but today Rika-chan had rehearsal for tomorrow's Watangashi to go to. Oh, we're getting close to the festival again. How is that going, Rika-chan? Do you have it down in practice? I'll try harder than last year. You were so exhausted and sweaty after last year's ceremony. She'll look far more fit for the role this year. Please look forward to the fruits of her training. The Watangashi festival everyone has been talking about was tomorrow, wasn't it? The festival being in June felt a little early to me, but the onset of summer came quickly this year, so it fit the image of a summer festival pretty well. Okay, we'll be off then. I look forward to tomorrow. Good day to you all. Sadako and Rika-chan waved us energetically, then left. You know, I never asked, where is the festival happening anyway? I don't remember there being anywhere around here that seems suited for hosting one. They do it at the Furide Shrine. Went there for a walk one day, remember? It was that place with a really good view. Oh, right, I remember. there's a shrine all the way up that hill, wasn't there? It seemed far too grand for Hinamizawa. There's a great meeting place in the shrine, too. The older people get together and sing karaoke or practice calligraphy from time to time. It's more like a recreational facility than a simple shrine. I see. I guess it makes sense, so it looks so grand then. Mii-chan, your family's gonna help set up today? Yep, we have male hands for that. Most of our relatives come from the town to help. Males, huh? I mean, I have nothing to do at home today, so... Will it be a problem if I squirmed my way into helping too? Huh? You want to help us, Kei-chan? Not if it'll be a bother to you all. I was kinda interested. We have fun dances and other festivals in town I used to live in, but we didn't know where they took place, much less wanted to help. You could say I have absolutely no connection to the region. Having come to Hinamizawa, though, it really made me feel like this place was home that I had returned to. Before I knew it, I'd harbored a little interest in the small community activities of preparing for a festival the day before. I wonder if I'll be able to, Keiichi-kun. There's a lot of building tents and setting chairs. I hear it's pretty hard physical labor. I mean, I wouldn't be doing it alone, right? The more hands we have, the faster it'll go. Mion looked happy to hear that, but at the same time her expression was complex, tinged with hesitation. Brenna gave her last push for me. It's decided then. You should go for it, Keiichi-kun. He's all yours, Mii-chan. Put him through the ringer. Well, I can't argue with the recommendation. Brenna. Okay, then go home first, put on some work clothes, and come to the shrine. And then you might want to bring a towel to wipe your sweat, too. Got it. I may look scrawny, but I'm actually like breaking my sweat under the hot sun. Carefully, don't hurt your back, okay? Right, enough of my old man spiel. I'll go to the shrine too as soon as I've changed. Mii-chan, you do your best too. Bye-bye. Mion waved vigorously to us and left. As far as I could tell from her gallant retreating figure, she seemed to have recovered from the weak state she had yesterday. Girls are quick to get over things. Mii-chan's already fine. Right. Her switching back to normal so cleanly really makes it easy for me to talk to her. Kind of funny though, isn't it? Kind of like Cinderella. They can't meet her anymore once the magic wears off. Randa began to giggle a fair bit in amusement. Did she like this sort of thing? Incidentally, me going along with gave me a weird, hard-to-describe feeling. Did I turn myself into a plaything, or did they just do it for me? If you think it's so funny, then you should try pretending to be a different Rena, too. Yeah, that sounds like fun! Keiichi-kun, what kind of Rena would you want to beat? One with a bust size of at least 90. Huge knockers, you're okay with me touching. I can't do that! She'd be a great cook at cooking and make me lunch and come see me every morning. I do that already! I pull Rena's head into a tight grip and start to pet it. You're Rena Ryuga, right? Rena, not Reina. So you just stay as Rena forever, got it? Thanks. Have fun setting up the festival. Wait a minute, did Keiichi... Okay, that is weird. That is so weird. He didn't know about the Reina name until after the festival in the other timeline. So how did he learn it here? That's an interesting thing. Thanks, I have fun helping set up the festival. You got it. Let's meet up tomorrow. I got changed right away, and slinging a towel over my neck like Mion suggested, I set off for the shrine. Those are some well-animated steps. At the shrine, there were more people than you'd imagine even live in Hinamizawa there. All cordoning off areas, setting up tents for framework, chatting amongst themselves as they did so. Alright, where's Mion? The liveliness of the throne isn't making it easy to look for her. I searched around as if I already worked there, and suddenly the principal called out to me. You mean the principal that is a freaking ninja? is it? Oh, Barakun, interesting. Have you come to help us with the Watangashi setup? Hello. Yes, I was wondering if there was anything I could help with. How commendable your attitude is. Feel free to sweat to your heart's content. Spurred on by the principal, I came upon a group of people setting up tents. Oh, what's this? It's Higarashi-chan! Did she come all the way to help us? I haven't found Mion yet, but I suppose I'll just get in her way if I ran into her. Yeah, I'm here to help. Just tell me where you need me. You young ones have all the vitality. Here, grab some work gloves. Ever built a tent before? No, never. First time for everything. Delighting in teaching a new skill to someone younger, plenty of people happily taught me all sorts of things. Okay, I was just checking something. Okay, kid, go inside the tent and tie up just the cords for the top. After that, we'll stand it up and tie the rest of them. Butterfly knots are okay, right? There and there. All done. We're standing it up. 1, 2, 3, let's go! What was once nothing more than a collapsed tent was raised on 4 splendid legs before my eyes mere moments before. I think a scary part's supposed to be coming up during the festival proper. Right now it's just slice of life, I think. And then more horror stuff happens at that point as well after that. It's basically when the festival pops up, that's usually when the grittier parts start to happen. And then maybe some small hints of it before that. Yeah. One more. Whoa! Seeing it put together like this actually is pretty moving. Come on, no time to stare and wonder. Come on, no time to stare and wonder. We've got a lot more work to do. We packed up the tents into the truck so we can get them from here. They're heavy, so take someone with you. No, I'm good. I may look scrawny, but I'm actually pretty strong. Ah! At this point, the scary part is if Keiichi hurts himself. That's why I told you to have someone. Come on. Said the man, lifting it up with a grunt, taking away from under his arm. Either I'm weak or these old guys have more superhuman strength. Let's go. You're the youngest one here, so we're gonna make you sweat for it. Do your best. Beer after work is the best. I'm a minor. I don't think they care out in the village. Sweat dripped from my body. I've been fully and completely absorbed in helping them. To be fair, I tasted beer when I was like 7 or 8. I hated the taste. That put me off drinking till I was like 20. I would never have thought the cold barley tea from the Women's Society could taste this delicious. You're so young, make sure you drink a lot. Thank you? It was then I realized a crowd had formed near the shrine a way off. When I took a closer look, I saw a girl dressed in a shrine maid garb, and a handful of old men looking like they were preparing for the ceremony together. Oh, is it Rika? Is that Rika-chan? Hey, Rika-chan! Do your best! I shouted, and it seemed like she heard me. Yay, Rika in the shrine outfit! Isn't she adorable? Rika-chan, positively exploding with vitality, answered with a smile. The older guys with me watched Rika-chan as well, with distant gazes. Rika-chan is doing a great job. She seems far more used to this than she did last year. The old lady who gave me the tea clasped what looked like prayer beads in her hand and said, Rika-sama, we thank you, we thank you. And just like that, began to respectfully pray to her. Huh? I just remember they called this the Furude Shrine. Wasn't Rika-chan's full name Rika Furude? Yes. Yes, it frickin' is. That is important. The man standing next to me answered my question. That's right. Rika-chan's Furude clan is the ancient and honorable, has worshipped Oyashiro-sama for generations. Huh? I'd always gotten the feeling she wasn't quite your average person, but it turned out she was from an esteemed family. After her father, who was the shrine priest, died the year before last, she really has been doing her best to learn the rituals. I wish the priest could have been there to see how wonderfully she'd grown up. What? Riki-chan's father passed away? Okay, break time's over. Let's get the chairs we're not using back to the gym in Okonomiya. Maki-san pulled the truck around and take a few people with you. Alright, Mabara-kun, let's get to work on the one last job. Yeah? You're gonna make me do more work? I can't tell if they know I'm a minor or not, but the older men all cheered me on and encouraged me to do my best and that the beer would be great. And thus, Keiichi earned his first beer. Ever. Kei-chan, working hard, I see. I passed by Mion. She was carrying a big cardboard box. It looked like she was right in the middle of work as well. Judging by the sweat seeping from her shirt, it seemed like I wasn't the only one with his hands full. Yeah, I'm working my ass off. You work hard too? The beer's gonna be great. We were worked with a bone until the sun began to set and start to cool off. That seemed to end abruptly. Very abruptly. It was soon full-fledged night, and the clear sound of the Higarashi eased the moderate pain I felt. The older guys began their night before drinking party in a tent a fair bit off, causing quite a ruckus. Gee, I wonder why. The shrine grounds, on the other hand, had turned into a lonely road tickled with a cool evening breeze, despite being so festive it just a little while ago. The wind felt great. I leaned on one of the stone guardian dogs at the front of the shrine and gave my legs a good stretch as I let my mind wander. Suddenly, a paper cup filled with barley tea was thrust before me. Kei-chan, great work. Here's some tea for you. You're so considerate. Thanks, me. Her voice sounded exactly the same, but it felt somehow different. Wait, you're... It's Shion! Wait, you're... Hiya, it's Shion! Yeah, thankfully work doesn't start till like 2:30 tomorrow afternoon, so I'm hoping the roads are a bit more clear by that point. Hey, it's Shion. Don't give Mion all the credit. She isn't considered at all. Don't get us confused, okay? Shion, you little... Now that I've caught you, there's no way. It's your mistake, Kei-chan. I never said I was anyone other than Shion. Ugh. I guess I can't argue with that. That's right. You're no match for my older sister, so I can't let you be a match for me either. Anyway, your tea. It's gonna get warm. I freaking love Shion's theme here. It is one of the best songs in the game. Ugh. Come on. Please cheer up. I'm trying to make it up to you with this tea. Well, she'd come all the way here to give it to me. I guess I'll accept it. I took the cup and downed it in one gulp. And then suddenly, ah! I heard a loud shout. They got stuck in my throat. Cough. Actually, I can actually make a believable cough because I still have a little bit of sick in my throat. Which one is this time? Is it the real Mion? Shion? What are you hanging out with Kei-chan again with? Why are you hanging out with Kei-chan again? Because unlike you, I'm very considerate. Kei-chan was so sweaty, I couldn't leave him alone, so I brought him some tea. Oh, that smirk. Oh my god. That smirk is, I am the one causing shit, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Mion's face went bright red as she tried to hide the paper cups behind her back. Well, this is... There's no way such a rushed, timid, good sister of mine would ever briskly bring a male classmate tea, is there? So what are they? What are those 2 cups of tea? These are, well, right. I was just so thirsty, I figured I'd drink 2... Oh, Mion, you little oh, Shion, you little shit. That's so like you. Come on, chug, chug! As Shion sheared at her, Mion downed both cups of tea, one after another. What a fabulous drink that was. I expect nothing less from you. Kei-chan, you give her a hand too. Wait, suddenly the situation got unbelievable. Mion didn't usually get manipulated so easily like that. I know for a while now, but Shion is terrifying. Good, Kei-chan! You're learning! Mion, you can't hold your own against Shion? I hate her, and lately I hate her even more. Just then I heard the snap of a camera shutter. Is it Take? Yes! Good evening! The festival's coming up tomorrow! Thanks for all your hard work setting up today! Good evening. Oh, Shion-chan! Quite unusual for you to come here. Oh hey, it's Tomitake and Takano-san. Good evening, it's been a while, hasn't it? So you're the transfer student I've heard so much about. Keiichi Maibara, was it? You really did a bang of show today, I'm impressed. I feel like I've seen this photographer guy before. Have we met before? I'm glad you remembered. We passed by many times on the road, Keiichi-kun. I'm Tomitake. I'm the freelance photographer from Tokyo. Then, do you recognize me? I'm sorry, I don't... She's Mio Takano-san. Do you remember when you were at the doctor's office when you still had the cold, Kei-chan? Mio-san is one of the nurses who works there. Call me Takano, I'm pleased to meet you. I wonder if she squeezed over them in the shrine storeroom. That's very thoughtful of you. Tomitake-san seems quite entertained at the Sonozaki twins being in the same place, and he took pictures after picture. I've heard about them, but this is the first time I've actually seen the pair of identical twins. They really do look exactly alike. We're not just alike on the outside, see our underwear matches too. Yeah, you idiot, what the heck are you doing? Things are never been as lively as when the two of them are together. Oh, I bet. I thought they were exactly the same at first. I started to get a handle of which one was which. Mion is Mion as well. She seems far better actor than Mion was. In the first place, somebody who could spurn Mion so easily wouldn't have shown such weakness to those lard buckets at Angel Port. If that's the case, then that cowardly behavior from that day was all... It was all a complete act. They were even more alike when they were little. I hear even their parents had a hard time telling which was which. That's really easy to imagine. I totally understand why they must have gone through. Takano gave me an odd look, but explaining would have been a pain, so I didn't bother. Taka, you're going straight back to Tokyo after you get your pictures at the festival? Yep, I'd rather just stay here forever. Silly little things, that's all. I hope your photos win a fabulous prize. I've been praying for it. Thanks! Next time I come, I'll bring the pictures took all of you today. Maibara, you did a lot of work today. You must be tired of all the physical labor you're not used to. Well, I am tired, but that was still pretty fun. Ah, youth, I'm so jealous. I know exactly what she means. Takano-san smiled with an adult elegance that no one in my circle of friends possessed. Yep, there's a reason for that. The wind caught her hair. She gives off an intelligent beauty. Oh, she's definitely intelligent. No question. Oh, why hello, everyone. It seems like our merry crowd's standing out this time. An overnight older man addressed us. Again, it's someone I thought I knew. If I recall correctly, he's a policeman, isn't he? Oh, Oishi-san, good evening. Your preliminary security inspection for tomorrow? Nah, something like that. Oh, if it isn't Tomitake-san. Certainly been a while. I'm honored you remember my name. You really do love Hinamizawa, don't you? Cars around here are far cheaper than the ones in Tokyo. You should move here, get it over with. I know a realtor I can introduce you to. I appreciate the thought. I'd very much like to follow up on that. Alright, everyone have a good year. Happy New Year to the Sonozaki twins, too.
Happy New Year, Detective Oishi. We appreciate your work. We'd like to end this year's festival with the least amount of inconvenience as possible.
That's a pretty strict on me. No! Detective Oishi left us with a low laugh and headed off to talk to some police officers standing ways away. I gave Mion a glance and saw her making an annoyed face, as if she were glaring bullets at someone she hated. Yeah, it's nice if the police didn't have anything to do during the Watangashi this year. You like this place too, don't you? Oh, you mean you dislike it, Jiro-san? I quite enjoyed Fantastic Stories, you know. Especially with the times being so dry and uninteresting. Here you go! The curse of Oyashiro-sama, you mean? Curse, Tomitaki-san, use a troubling word. There you go, Padme. This is the start of the creep factor. And suddenly someone tugged on my arm. Kei-chan, I'm pretty hungry. Want to go to the tent with the drinks and have some candy and sweets? I'm up for that. I've got a little hungry as well. Okay, let's go. A moment later, Shion said something to Takano and Tomitake that stung my ears and gave me a start. Oh? I wonder who will die and who will disappear this year. I pulled back from Mion's grip and stopped abruptly. Shion, what did she just say? It felt like the air around us dried out all of a sudden. Let's go, Kei-chan. They're talking about something silly anyways. You someone told Kei-chan? I'm making a point not to spread stories like that. Shion's cold and quiet tone and Mion's harsh were quite the contrast. Hey, wait, hold on, what are you talking about? Hang on, I just had to clear my throat. Hey, wait, hold on. What are you talking about? If you know something, tell me. It doesn't feel right being the only one left out, you know? Of course something caught my throat at this point. Someone please explain it to me. However, Mion didn't seem to be at all willing to grant my request. Okay, that's similar to the previous arc. She squeezed my hand in hers a bit, but then when she realized I would hold my ground on this topic, she let go. I'm gonna go to the drinking tent first then. If you don't come soon, Kei-chan, there won't be anything left for you. I get it already, I'll be there soon. Okay, so now he's gonna be hearing the damn story from Tomitaki, Takano, and Shion instead in this timeline. Before she got there, she stopped and turned back around. I showed no signs of going after her, though, so she ran off. I could tell you if you haven't heard, I suppose. But at least smarter not to ask and go with her to eat dessert. Hey, now, you've already gotten my full attention here. I'm not going to leave without asking at this point. I think Kei-chan has the right to hear it, too. My sister was just stealing that from you. Shion's voice was bristling with thorns as if someone was blaming Mion. No, Mion was just trying to protect Keiichi. What on earth are you talking about? I don't really like people acting so self-important. Takano-san, realizing how prepared I was, looked across the group. After confirming there was no objection, she opened her mouth. Do you believe in curses, Mabara-kun? Curses? I think they're interesting, but I don't really... I felt their cynical stares and winced. It was like they were telling me I was a stranger not to believe in curses. You're not wrong, Kei-chan. Curses are just superstition. It's only natural you wouldn't believe in them. Besides, you can take all the time you need to decide whether or not believe in curses after you've heard us through. Said Takano-san, giving a little smile. You're trying to scare me. At least that's what it feels like. Alright, I'll start. Keiichi-chan, do you know about the Hinamizawa Dam project? Oh yeah, the other day at Angelmore, Mion rather told me about it. You mean the plan for the giant dam that would flood all of Hinamizawa, right? That's right. Residents of town bound together fight in a fierce battle with the government unfolded. I heard that too. The entire village united, using all the power at their disposal, mass media, political influence, and other things throughout the country. The way Mion described it sounded like a boast. Oh, you know quite a bit about it then. Yes, you're right. It's practically an epic tale how just 1,000 or so villagers banded together and rejected the government's plan. Did you hear this from my sister? She likes those kind of epics, you know. Yeah, she told me. There was, however, an office for Hinamizawa residents and opposition faction. It was the shrine. You know, the assembly hall, that's where it used to be. Now the whole thing is over, the senior citizens just use it for group activities. At the time, though, it was their last bastion. Takano explained at this point, pointing a finger towards the assembly hall I'd been carrying things in and out of all day. I mean, I understood if they put an office like that in the mayor house or something. But having an office or shrine grounds made it kind of like a base camp for Sengoku period warriors. That was basically the mindset, though, placing the main force in the shrine dedicated to Oishiro-sama, Hinamizawa's guardian deity, was like a prayer for victory. Oishiro-sama. That was definitely it. They mentioned Oishiro-sama's curse before. Is the same Oishiro-sama? Do you know about Oishiro-sama, Keiichi-kun? It's the name of the god worshipped at this shrine. It said he protects all of Hinamizawa. Well, I don't really know much about him. I see, then Takano-san knows more about the rest. Tag, you're it. Well, it's generally the whole story. Oishiro-sama is the ancient god passed down in Hinamizawa, and the villagers say he's been protecting the sanctuary from poisons of the outside world. So essentially, he's the basic standard guardian deity. I guess you can find that sort of god anywhere you go. There's research into whether worshipping Oishiro-sama is the manifestation of the kind of elitism too. What I mean is, the worshippers may think themselves as chosen people. Believing yourself chosen, a nationalistic belief that you're part of a superior race, or that you're a special clan chosen by the gods. They believe that you're a superior clan, so they believe strongly in cooperating with others, but they also end up being exclusionary towards the other clans. I won't go into too much detail, but it's the sort of national and religious ideas that led to war. Of course, that goes for Japan, too. A long time ago, the people of Hinamizawa strongly believed themselves different from humans, that they were above them. They believed that interaction with the lower world would sully their souls. So everyone believed that if one from the lower world came to the village, they would be sullied and suffer the wrath of Oishiro-sama. Apparently that kept everyone away. Villagers that hate outsiders came up all the time in the Kindichi novels. This was once a run-of-the-mill villager of xenophobes. Well, they'll deny it to preserve their pride, but it's a long time ago after all. Things are different now. Shion followed up quickly, having the sense the thorns into Matake-san's words. Matake-san, embarrassed at what he said, scratched his head. So this shrine worships Oishiro-sama thinks of Hinamizawa as holy ground. It's a symbol of their traditional hatred of the outside world. I get it. So that's why they chose the shrine of the Hinamizawa Guardian Spirit as their base of operations to resist the sullied dam construction project that came from the outside. Correct, smiled Takano, pleased. She must dislike stupid people. I dislike stupid people. Even though I myself am a stupid person. Superstition, every last bit of it. The villagers gave everything, desperate to oppose the dam construction. Right in the midst of it, the incident drove home the finishing blow. Oishiro-sama's curse. The person managing the construction site of Hinamazawa Dam was murdered. 4 years ago, I believe. It took newspapers by storm. Do you remember it? No, not really. He had a fight with a subordinate and was beaten to death with a pickaxe. His limbs and head were torn off and the remains disposed of. One of those dismemberment homicides. They were all the rage at one point. Such a gruesome incident. But it was just that, an incident. A person caused the incident after all. Should they really put it down to a curse? Then the following year, the man who organized the Hinamazawa group of dam proponents, he fell from a cliff while on vacation and died. Apparently it was an accident. Of course, most of Hinamazawa was hostile towards him. The police were all over the case as if it were a homicide, but in the end it was judged to have just been an accident. Now it's an accident. This is the most cursed-like one, but it's still far-fetched. And then on the next year, this time the priest of the shrine contracted an unknown illness and suddenly died. This may sound rude, but the old priest was kind of a wait-and-see type. The whole village was in an uproar about the dam, and he just kind of didn't seem to want to bother. The shrine was the symbol of the opposition movement, and the priest, well, his attitude worked against him. Villagers at the time had hoped for a leader, but their hopes were betrayed. Some people were apparently pretty angry, too. So at the time, all older people were like, "This is Oishiro-sama's curse." That's what they said. It seemed like every year, dam-related people the village had resentment towards were dying. It was pretty creepy. Oh, and also, it's interesting all these incidents and accidents always happened on the night of the Watangashi festival. What? See? Starting to sound like a curse now, isn't it? And remember, Tomotage died in the last timeline, right after the festival. And it's generally assumed that, the other deaths kind of followed suit. See, starting to sound like a curse now, isn't it? And the year after that, in other words, last year, the sister-in-law of the man who was the leader of the dam proponents, the one who accidentally died, was discovered dead, having been beaten to death. Of course they caught that criminal, see? Really seems like a curse, huh? 4 years in a row. Each one of the incidents and accidents were relatively commonplace. But every single one of them happening on the night of the festival, worshipping Oishiro-sama. That's not normal. The old folks have been blindly accepting Oishiro-sama's curse because of the incidents these past few years. Even younger people, too, at first. They thought it was stupid, but now nobody makes fun of it. Yeah, I can see where she's coming from. Even me, I didn't think there was a curse at all, but thinking about the incidents like this makes me feel like maybe it's real? For example, if you just look at the preparations for the festival you were doing today, everything might have gone crazy during the Battle of the Dam, but just a few years ago, the Watangashi festival was never this well attended. Well, I guess you're right. If we didn't have Oishiro-sama to talk about, we wouldn't all be coming to a festival like this, huh? There's a lot of people who say that infidels might be punished, or so they really need to go to Oishiro-sama's festival. Shion nodded as if she were mocking herself. So how about now, Keiichi-kun? You're starting to get the feeling that maybe, just maybe, the curse is real, aren't you? I mean, I can't just laugh off people related to the dam project all dying like that. Even if I feel like this now, then more superstitious members of the village might feel stronger than that. Well, I mean, I still don't think there's a curse, but I understand those that believe there is, though. Well, Kei-chan, you can really keep your cool head about this. Shion grinned and realized I'd rejected the curse. If it's neither a curse nor coincidence, then what should we make of these incidents? Takano said, smiling playfully as if posing a riddle. Neither curse nor coincidence, but every year someone dies. What should we make of that, then? Tomotage-san catching on to the fact that I had no idea what to make of it,
opened his mouth came to my aid. Takano is suggesting that maybe the work is the work of real people. Huh? Simple process of elimination would have gotten me back there, but I was a little taken aback at not realizing the answer immediately. Well, then think about it. If it's either a curse nor a coincidence, then people must have willingly carried it out. It's the only explanation, right? Pressed Takano, I smiled bitterly in spite of myself. Here I just was a few minutes ago thinking very concept of curse was absolutely absurd. When she suggested it's someone's doing, I ended up thinking, there isn't any way it could be a person. But Takano was right. It was either a curse or it was a person's doing. Unrealistic things like curses didn't exist, and the obvious next step would be start thinking it was people behind it. But if that was the case, I glanced at Shion. If the culprit is a person, then they'd have to be someone from Hinamizawa. That's what police officer Oishi-san thinks right now, and too. Hey, wait, that can't be. I thought I now knew the reason Mion didn't want to talk about this. If Oishiro-sama's curse really existed, then that's fine. It would be divine judgment, rather, for the dam project business. However, if Oishiro-sama's curse didn't exist, which is obviously didn't, then the culprit most likely is someone from Hinamizawa. The villagers had worked desperately to oppose the dam project. I knew that they used all sorts of methods to fight against it. If one of those methods was maybe people whisper that Oishiro-sama's curse could be doing of a secret grouping in the dam resistance movement, Shion dryly put words to my exact thoughts. Of course, I didn't expect it. She was from Hinamizawa, so I didn't think she'd come out and say it herself. If you calm down and think about it, anyone would come to the same conclusion. There wouldn't be a motive for anyone but people who benefit from opposing the dam project, right? I guess that's true. Admitting the existence of a darker side of the dam conflict would be rude to Mion, who spoke of it so highly. So I couldn't just accept Shion's seemingly logical viewpoint. One more thing, police didn't even know this. There's proof that someone from Hinamizawa committed these crimes, and the people of Hinamizawa know it. What? I would love to see this proof. Shion rebuked me to keep my voice down. Sorry, but this proof, what is it? It's the fact that one person dies and one more person disappears. One more person disappears. Do you think that someone besides the one who died from the curse was a sacrifice? What do you mean by disappear? They just vanish and they're never seen from them again? That's right. Suddenly without a trace. As she spoke, Shion pretended to do a trick with her hands like she was making a magician's hat disappear. One dies, a mysterious death. One disappears, never to be seen again. A strange vanishing act. But then how does that equate to someone from Hinamizawa being the culprit? Well, actually, Hinamizawa has one really old legend about how people offer sacrifices to Oishiro-sama to calm his wrath. Sacrifices? Yes. They say they used to wrap a living person up in a bamboo mat and let them slowly sink down into the bottomless swamp. Takano, though, explained something pretty terrible, had this look of glee on her face as she did so. As far as I can glean from literature, it actually took 3 days and 3 nights for them to sink. See, when people a long time ago, like symbolism, as the body sunk, Oishiro-sama's anger would be quelled. Both were submerged in the deep. Takano was the only one laughing at this. Was she telling a joke or something? She hadn't even moved to deny it, but I felt difference in temperature between her cool expression and Takano-san's. This whole conversation, well, you think you can imagine after hearing it, but it's the secret history of Hinamizawa. Everyone's been in Hinamizawa for so long it knows it, but they don't talk about it. Takano-san's not from around here, she knows quite a lot. She likes local history, folk legends, stuff like that. She learned all about it by herself, too. I'm really not all that amazing, just curious, that's all. Like a child. I want to see the scary things for the fun of it.
Tomitake-san laughed, a little bit embarrassed. Wait a minute. What does that mean? The other person who disappears during the incidents, you're saying they're offered as a sacrifice? Yeah. Shion's answers in one word anyone else can speak. Someone dies, someone disappears. Whether they actually get sacrificed or not is a different issue. Every time something happens in the past, one person died, the other person disappeared. For example, the first one where the dam manager was killed, apparently one of the people responsible for it still hasn't been arrested. Couldn't that just mean he managed to get away? I don't see why we should treat him as a sacrifice. Well, that's basically what I think too. There was also the year after the leader of the dam proponents. You said he fell off a cliff and died while on vacation, right? Apparently his wife fell as well. The police investigated fervently, but they were only able to find the wife's corpse. The river under the cliff was actually pretty high at the time, though. She could have just been buried under the sand at the bottom of some lake downstream or something. The perpetrator of dismemberment like that wouldn't want to be caught, so they desperately ran away and hid too. It should be hid, not hide. Otherwise, it grammatically doesn't make sense. I thought I heard about cases where the corpse would surface after a person drowned in a swelled river like that. She vanished because of an unfortunate accident, but I still didn't see the connection to sacrifices. If you look at each of the past incidents in turn, none of the disappearances evoke that terrifying of an image. The year after that, with the priest suddenly falling ill and dying, is much clearer. His wife left a suicide note. They found it in their house the night the priest died. It said something along the lines of, her quelling Oshiro-sama's wrath through her death. The curse seemed to turn up in this one too, though. Well, I may never know the truth of the matter. The swamp the wife drowned herself in was the giant bottomless one that Takano mentioned before. The police investigated, but all they could find were several of her possessions. They never found the corpse. The police suspect it was a fake suicide, and they're still investigating it now. Someone dies every year in the same way someone goes missing every year. Is she trying to tell me that someone who's vanished was kidnapped by some extremely inefficient means and dumped into the bottom of the swamp still alive and drowned to death? But a curse? That's unbelievable in its own right. And the next year, what was it, the dam project's proponent's sister-in-law? She was killed? In the same way someone disappeared? There's a boy around my age named Satoshi Hojo. He's the nephew of the marriage of the woman killed. She uncut in a slightly stronger tone of her voice. Yes, Satoshi is Sadako's big brother. There's a reason she trolls Keiichi-san so much. She knew the boy who disappeared pretty well, at least. That's the vibe I'm getting. Well, that about sums everything up. One person always dies, one person always suddenly disappears. Leaving the suddenness aside, the fact that each incident involved one person disappearing. So that means the first person who dies because of Oshiro-sama's curse, and the second one who vanishes is because the villagers sacrificed them? Is that it? Kei-chan, there's no curse. Somebody kills the first person under the guise of the curse, and someone takes away the second person to be sacrificed. But Shion, that means the criminal is in the village right now. That's what I'm guessing from the start. It's pretty shocking though, you know. We live in the Showa period. It's kind of hard to believe people are committing murders just like it's nothing, using some ancient justification, huh? It didn't seem like anything to do with our discussion, but I got the feeling that maybe Shion didn't like Hinamizawa very much. Mion enjoyed talking about Hinamizawa and his epic tales, so she had avoided talking about Oshiro-sama's curse, which didn't paint Hinamizawa in a good light no matter how you looked at it. She was trying hard not to give me a bad impression of the village, so she didn't say anything. Shion, on the other hand, was somehow different. She wasn't rejecting the concept of curse to purge Hinamizawa of this bad impression, but rather because she strongly believed the member of the village was the criminal behind all this. Her conviction seemed a bit removed from the tight sense of community that held the people of the Hinamizawa.
Once upon a time, they looked so alike you could mistake one for the other. But talking to her now, I was getting a powerful feeling that Shion had a completely different personality than Mion. No, really? Kei? Really? Oh, hey, Siren. How's it going? Okay. Everyone else, they all think someone from Hinamizawa did it, right? Neither Shion nor Takano answered that. The deafening silence told me all that need to be said. Then let me ask another question. If someone from Hinamizawa is the culprit, then who is it? Neither Shion nor Takano-san had a reply to that question either. Though it may have been rude to ask, I'd hoped they wouldn't have one. The reason I asked was to argue their explanation that the culprit was from Hinamizawa was nothing more than one possibility. Shion caught on to my plan. She gave me a pained smile at my petty spite and opened her mouth to speak. All I said, really, was just amounts to circumstantial evidence anyway. If any of us knew who it really was, we'd gotten them to the police hands already. As would anybody. Then what about Takano-san? She too smiled dryly, as Shion had, and opened her own mouth. Well, clear one thing up. I'm not a detective or anything, alright? In all honesty, I'm just not really interested in who the culprit is. Takano-san, you sure are a handful. Tomitaki-san gave a bitter laugh at her surprising opinion on the matter. You see, I just like cruel and atrocious ancient traditions and fairy tales. I only enjoy them from a curious onlooker's perspective. So even for this string of incidents, not much finding out who the culprit is, but enjoying thinking about how the old traditions displayed by these incidents themselves still seem to have some pretty deep roots around here. Though she described herself as nothing more than a curious onlooker, her smile was as sharp as the tip of a blade. Women like her felt very strange and a little scary to me. Yeah, Keiichi, trust that gut feeling immediately, please. Maybe it's just that I was in fearful awe of the person whose emotions I couldn't comprehend. Well, I don't think it's of any of this interesting at all. The Watangashi festival is coming up tomorrow, but I don't want anyone to die or disappear. Tomorrow, huh? That's right. It completely slipped my mind. The string of murderous incidents people attributed to the Oshiro-sama curse, it wasn't over. If last year's incident wasn't the end, then tomorrow night, at the festival, someone die, someone disappear. I do wonder who will die tomorrow. Who will disappear, though? Takano said, running a comb through her hair with elegant movements, with a thin smile, in a voice that nearly made me shudder. She almost looked like she was enjoying the thought of incidents that could happen tomorrow. Then, out of the blue, we heard a loud round of applause. It seemed like the ending the drinking party early. Right, I was making Mion wait this whole time, wasn't I? I should go back to her soon. You're teasing the kids too much, Takano-san. Now Keiichi-kun thinks it's all true. Hee, I apologize. It's that bad habit of mine again, said Takano, sticking her tongue out bashfully. The strangeness of her expression was nowhere to be found. When Takano-san sees an innocent child like you, she can't help wanting to poke fun at them. It's a real bad habit. Keiichi-kun, you listened to everything so earnestly that she ended up getting carried away. Unlike Takano-san, Tomitaki-san seemed like a totally normal person with common sense. They were apologizing after realizing what kind of impression they were giving me. The stuff Takano said is all fiction. If it made you harbor any bad impressions of Hinamizawa, then we apologize for that. Jeez, Jiro-san. You apologize to you, Takano-san. Tell me you're not sorry for scaring him. Takano and Tomitaki-san were arguing, messing around now. The strain around us had already dissipated. The thing is, none of it's bullshit. All those deaths did happen in the story. So I'm not sure what they're calling a lie, aside from the curse part. Kei-chan, you should probably get going too. Mion is the jealous type. If she sees me, she'll probably start a fight, so I'll just go home. Really? Then I'll go see what Mion's doing. Apologize for making her wait, I guess. Sorry for being such a nuisance, Keiichi-kun. Tell Mion-chan sorry for borrowing you for so long. Yes, I don't think telling her would make her feel any better, but sure. Tomotaki-san and Takano-san, standing next to each other, both began to chuckle. Okay then, Kei-chan. Let's try and run into each other at tomorrow's festival. We'll see each other. I mean, it's us we're talking about after all. We'll be making so much trouble, it'll be hard for you not to find us. Shio and I said our goodbyes to Tomotaki-san and Takano-san. Before we could leave, Takano-san called out to us. Thanks for listening so earnestly to what I had to say. You're just such a good at listening. I had a great time talking to you. Good at listening? No, not at all. I was in a state of perpetual bewilderment after all the shocking topics being thrown my way one after another. Did you like my story today? Well, it's pretty interesting. I'll tell you some more sometime, okay? There's a lot of pretty interesting legends and fairy tales about Hinamizawa. Of course, a lot of strange and creepy ones, too. I'll choose a bunch of my favorites and tell you about them. I was kind of happy, but kind of worried. I can't help but smile dryly and scratch my head. Keiichi, you can go now. Takano-san's just messing with you. That's goodbye, then. Run, drive, run off. I heard Tomotaki-san call out behind him in a clear voice that we should see each other at the festival tomorrow. And we fade to black. When I went to the tent, Mion was waiting for me. I went to the tent, Mion was waiting for me, and she was nowhere to be found. I made her wait so long, maybe she got mad and went home. After asking some of the adults passing by, I heard that she went home talking to some relatives. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but my regrets for having made Mion wait weren't enough to triumph over the impression Takano and Shion's uncanny story left on me. Serial murder incidents that happened 4 years in a row. Would tomorrow's events make this the 5th? And the possibility that someone from Hinamizawa was carrying this all under the guise of a curse? The queer tradition of ritual sacrifice entirely unbecoming of Showa period we live in. Okay, this is a great example of how the word queer is supposed to be used correctly versus how LGBTQ has been using it consistently. Queer isn't meant to be a lifestyle choice. It is meant to be described like an evil or a happening that isn't culturally acceptable to whatever culture you're in. It's not meant to be, oh yeah, I'm against the man, blah, blah, blah. Look at me, I'm so awesome. This is why it's used incorrectly with alternate lifestyle groups, and it just pisses me off to no end. I regret it a little, though it's not too late. None of those creepy stories had anything to do with me, so then I should just let Mion pull me away from that crowd. I felt a little ashamed of letting my cheap curiosity get the better of me. And we fade to black. Oh, good for me. New tips? Oh boy! Those are always... Oh my god, there's so many! Alright, let's look at scrapbook 1. Oishiro-sama's curse. In the ancient Oniga-Fuchi village, the anger of Oishiro-sama and his curse was feared above all. However, it's seldomly stated anywhere what eventually happens when sort of divine judgment curse befalls them when Oishiro-sama is angry. From various reports, all hell will break loose. Demons will come flooding out. The miasma from hell will flood outward, killing every villager, letting not a single one escape. The ones evoke images of the village being annihilated stand out the most. These terrifying ideas of divine punishment are in line with many other religious beliefs regarding the apocalypse, hell, and it's easy to imagine that they were just ways of convincing people to obey the teachings in order to prevent such an end. The conditions for inciting Oishiro-sama's wrath are likely the same as the taboos in Oniga-Fuchi village. I believe that when an act was performed that would violate one of these taboos, Oishiro-sama was termed angry. In order to quell his anger, they would perform the aforementioned sacrificial ritual. Sacrificial ritual. Okay, that's scrapbook 1. Scrapbook 2? The human sacrifice ritual. The sacrifice ritual was simple drowning involving plunging the victim into the Onigafuchi swamp, which was considered hallowed. Of the rituals of Onigafuchi village, this one was unique in that the sacrifice would sink slowly over the long course of 3 days and 3 nights. Believing it wasn't so much killing of this sacrifice that was important, but rather the symbolism letting them sink as the submerging of Oishiro-sama's anger. For that purpose, they must have had a passion for learning various methods for keeping the sacrifice from sinking too quickly, to force them to sink more slowly. Unfortunately, as far as I can tell from the records, those methods were not recorded. My thoughts are that they may have used logs or some other material to craft a raft, then set up a scaffold there to hang the sacrifice up with ropes that let them sink little by little over the time into the swamp. However, if there were the case, it would not be strange if the ritual implements used for such a ceremony were honored as holy and enshrined somewhere. They wouldn't indeed. And scrapbook 3. Implements used for the ritual. Ritual tools utilized for ancient religious ceremonies are commonly referred to as implements, or ritual implements. Even now, and some of them are enshrined on the property of Furude Shrine and the 3 families. We know that Sonozaki and Furude were 2 out of 3. I forget who the 3rd is supposed to be. However, the identifiable tools are all decorative, and none of them appear to have been used in rituals governing the dark side of Onigafuchi village. As the Edo period came to a close and many traditional rituals were lost, were they lost as well? Or perhaps buried in the darkness? Darkness! I don't believe so. Both the implements used on the night of the festival of the feast of Onikakuchi and those used during the sacrifice ceremony must still exist enshrined away from the eyes of the masses. Without a doubt, they exist here today is the very moment in Hinamizawa. Also, I'm fairly certain where they've been enshrined was once a lock steadfastly has for some reason changed this year to a cheap-looking padlock. He might be able to do something about such a lock. It's not so far from the assembly hall, nor is it far from the presence of people. However, I will not give up. The night when it becomes so blind spot to every villager in Hinamizawa is coming soon. Soon it will be Watangashi. Festival's around the corner. Yay! It's fun music. Rabble, rabble, rabble. Hey, are you worn out? Tomorrow's the real thing. We're gonna be partying until morning, until the very end of it. Got it? Got it. I'll give it everything I got. Wahahaha! Alright then, youth is the greatest. Good work, everyone. Tomorrow's Watangashi at last. Let's get some shut-eye and save our energy for tomorrow night. Tomorrow is finally Watangashi. Festivals are split into 2 groups, those who enjoy them and those who support them. The former only need prepare their minds, but the latter need not only that, but also painstakingly craft plans and preliminary agreements. There we go. While the general majority attending goes about enjoying the festival without a care in the world, we'll be strained the whole way through. Why? You sure as hell know why. Because the fear after everything's over is the best damn fear you'll ever have. Wahahaha! At times like these, it's best to have energetic, physically fit people. It wouldn't be worth it if you didn't do your best until the end. Enjoying it the whole way! Oh, he's here! Oishi-san came! Everyone hurried to stand up. Hello, everyone! Excellent work out there! Oh, you can be at ease. Thank you, sir!
Not even my seniors, who usually talk big about themselves, can hold a handle to Uishi-san. We all bow as if we were one of those cheering squads of old. Karuno Oishi. A detective just waiting to retire. One who doesn't pay much mind to rules and regulations and doesn't do much in the way of real work. He looks like a rotten old man with a penchant for dirty jokes. My seniors, though, tell me he was a real fighter in his younger days, and that he may or may not quite a heroic legend trailing behind him. Anyway, he surely has much more dignity in the presence room than the section chief who came in with him. Everyone, I really should thank you all for your hard work on preparation for the festival tomorrow. Everyone present stands upright and lends their ear to the chief's directions. Now on heavy alert for any thrill-seeking criminals expecting another incident like this last year. I know all of you to focus on your energy as much as possible in your mission to prevent any such crime from happening. Yes, sir! Of course, it would be best if nothing happened. However, everyone, please assume that an incident will in fact occur. Prevention is number one, but probably won't be enough. This year, too, someone will die and someone will disappear. There's really no doubt about it. Oof. Everyone apart from the section chief smiled painfully. Oishi-san, that won't do. We need you to be more serious about this. The important part is not to get past the night. It's not to get past the night of the festival. It is to be swiftly, and aggressively pursue whatever does happen tomorrow night. I won't tolerate anything less. Do your best. Clench those cheeks. We're gonna rip all the skins off the ghosts of Oshiro-sama's curse. Yeah! And that's our tips for this moment. Save. And that's the end of chapter 6.
It's Keiichi-kun. Good morning, good morning.
Rena was ecstatically waving her arms at me, always brimming with energy. What do you mean good morning? It's already an evening. Just say hello or something. Oh, so we're skipping straight to the evening. Awesome. Yay, I love this.
But this is the first time I've seen you today, so I think good morning is right. It's right.
I got it. Okay. Then good morning it is. Good morning, Rena. I grabbed Rena's head and rubbed it with my hand. She squirmed, reveling the motion like a cat. Oh, my kitty's hiding under the blankets. I just made the bed, and she crawled right under.
Hey, Keiichi-kun. Sorry about yesterday. I left without telling you.
Oh, no, it's my fault. Sorry for making you wait so long.
Are you talking about setting up for the festival yesterday? How was it, Keiichi-kun? Did you do your job properly?
A slight muscle pain throughout my body, and my sluggish movements were already obvious. I did great. I'm pretty worn out, though. I grinned dryly, and the three of us barked in laughter. Where's Sadako and Rika-chan? Are we meeting up with them at the festival?
Yep. Rika-chan's actually been there since yesterday because she has such an important job. I think Sadako-chan stayed with her, so they're already at the shrine. Right, I just remembered. Today was Rika-chan's big performance. She'd been practicing especially hard this day. I need to make sure I went and cheered her on. Alright, let's go right away. Yeah!
As we got closer to the shrine, we started passing by more people, seeing a lot of parked cars. It began to get noisier, too. I thought I could hear them like a Bond dancing song. Without being able to restrain my patience, I dashed up the entire flight of stone stairs.
Keiichi-kun, you're going too fast. Wait for me.
Man, Keiichi-chan, you're such a little kid. Whoa! The shrine grounds, they're packed with people. It's a festival if I ever saw one.
Whoa, they went all out this year too. Amazing, amazing! They're coming from Yuzawa. The veteran old man from Kimishiyoshi branch family's here too. I think that old guy went home from Watangashi last year and stayed in bed ever since. Yeah, there's a lot of villagers here you don't really get to know. They must have all been poured in just for the today. Oh, it's Sadako-chan, hey! Of course, it isn't everyone. Yes, hello to you all. Yo, Sadako! There's lots of people here today. Don't you get lost in the crowd, okay? Who do you think you're talking to? Sadako, too, seems somewhat energetic. Of course, I'm the same way. Where's Rika-chan? She still has free time, doesn't she? Rika-chan was giving her respects to the mayor and other important people. She'll come back before long. I see. Rika-chan is the shrine maiden for today's festivals, after all. It's probably a pain for her to say hello to all the elders. It really is a pain. Hello, everyone. Rika-chan! I want to take you home! Rika-chan wore an immaculate shrine maiden outfit that looked fresh off the shelves. It was perfect fit for her somehow mystical appearance. How does it fit? It's not too long, is it? My grandma gave me some safety pins in case the sleeves are too long. It's alright. It's really comfortable. As she spoke, she began to do some twists and stretches. It's great, it's so cute! Oh! There was approximately one person here getting a nosebleed from watching Rika-chan move, and it isn't Keiichi-san. Keiichi-kun, don't you think she's cute? Don't you? If you don't, then she'll be all mine. I'll take her home with me. I think she's really cute. Totally cool. Enough that I want to pretend to be your big brother. I think she's really cute. That's totally enough that I want to pretend to be your big brother or dad and take pictures with her. If we take pictures from two different places to make a stereoscope, we can eat or rather stare at a real-life Rika-chan at our houses whenever we want. Oh, that's great. That sounds fantastic. Rena's eyes and mine glittered with stars as our noses bled and we drooled. Okay, now they're both doing it. Rika-chan, you gotta stay away from them. Yes, or I might get locked away in a basement somewhere. Don't joke about that. You look like you're enjoying it, though, Rika-chan. Me-chan, you're being harsh. We all laugh together again. Okay, let's not hang around here. Let's go get to the festival. Not much time left until Rika-chan's big debut. You're right. Great, let's go, everyone. Yeah! Yo! If it isn't the daughter of Sonozaki, eat up! The yakisoba is packed full of pork. This year we filled it up so much we could. We could even put in fried calamari. Oh, that sounds delicious. Gotcha, old timer. Yakisoba this year looks like quite an achievement. You have squid too? You have to put time into this, didn't you? Whoa, it's tasty! Yeah, that squid is delicious. The aroma is just fantastic. It wonderfully complements how soft it tends to be. There's also a delightful amount of squid and pork in it too. Yep, not bad at all, I'd say. Ha ha ha, Kei-chan! You sound like you could walk into a cooking program from a host. Yeah. When I see Keiichi acting like it's so good, it's somehow tasty and better. I don't discriminate among delicious food. Anything I say is tasty, it's got to be worth trying out, right? Then, Keiichi, please give us your opinions of this yakisoba again. I'll do it in 2 words. Absolutely scrumptious. I had a second stomach. I'd buy another one right now. Haven't heard my 3-star rating as a whole line of people suddenly formed in the yakisoba stand. Wow, that's amazing. K-Chan said it was so good. A little crowd started to form. Not bad. Nothing to brag about, but I still decided to stick my chest out and put on airs. Yes! Oh, is that so? Then perhaps I'll try it too. Mister, can I catch ball to you some takoyaki? Sadako brought a stick of takoyaki balls of fried octopus from an adjacent stand after blowing one of them in her mouth. I've tried that. It's actually very good. How's it, Sadako-chan? If you give it a good rating, Rena will buy it too. Chop chop, chew chew, gulp. Now is the time for Hinumazawa Michelin judge Sadako Hojo. Give her impressions. So she was all for it a moment ago. Sadako hesitated to give her thoughts. Hey now, what's the matter? Everyone else takes one of their own and puts it in their mouths. Huh? Rena got gift. Mine's bad too. There's no octopus in it. This takoyaki vendor could be some sort of festival. Only octopus-free takoyaki stand. An evil takoyaki stand that skims on the octopus because they figured out to make them good money today. Mine has some. Yeah, it's pretty good considering there's octopus in it. How am I supposed to explain this octopus-free takoyaki is any good? I haven't wondered about that. Our quizzical looks seem to be drawing equally dubious stares from people in mind. How about this? Takoyaki without any octopus is really healthy. Even people who don't like octopus can eat this delicious takoyaki. That just sounds bad. After hearing that, several surprised guests left the line. It had the opposite effect. Alright, I'll give it a try next. A self-inspired take on takoyaki, which you can clearly taste the simple flavors of flour, green onions, and pickled ginger. The unaffected taste bolstered by the absence of octopus. It wasn't half bad, but after hearing there's no octopus in it clause, even more people left the line. Rika-chan, any good comments? You can be honest. 400 yen is too much for this. Yeah, that was too honest. Even more customers left the line feeling the lethal blow. There were other takoyaki stands after all. Well, I mean, I don't want to be doing this. Hey, Sadako, you started all this, so give us a great big turnaround. I cannot do it! How do you expect me to lavish praise on takoyaki without any octopus in it? Gah, you idiot. Sadako's anger outburst was the finishing blow. Ah, the customers are all gone, huh? The guy is staring at us. What is that? What is that, Owl? Sigh. There's no saving this crowd. Because I, Kishimabara-sama, will lend a generous hand. Keiichi-kun, you can do it. We want you to say the takoyaki vendor, but didn't put any octopus in. Don't smile as if you say something so bitter. Alright, fine. This may be the only chance you'll get to see a pro work, so watch carefully. I shoved the stick of octopus-less takoyaki in and crammed it into my mouth. As before, there wasn't any octopus in it. But Neon's had some in it. That was the important point. The man who runs this takoyaki stand, he truly loves takoyaki in every meaning of the word. No, Kinibi said he adores it, huh? Everyone gasped in surprise, including the takoyaki vendor, glaring at us. This man truly does love takoyaki. And because he loves it, he didn't want to create a half-hearted random ones. Isn't that right? The takoyaki vendor looks down unsure. Those watching listen intently, wanting to know why octopus and takoyaki deserve such high rating. Keiichi-san, if you really and truly love takoyaki that much, why did he make takoyaki with an octopus at all? Is he not betraying that very takoyaki? You may be right. In one sense, it is a betrayal. However, it's the best possible compromise that a man could find. This man is making real takoyaki today, as he always does. However, the one or two of them on each stick that are the real ones, well, you're right. The one I ate had octopus in it. And consider it did actually have it, didn't taste bad at all, you know. Right. That was bona fide takoyaki. As for the other ones, it was the biggest compromise that he could make against the biases of the general populace, who all think that there's no need to be 8 pieces on a stick or else it's not real takoyaki. Keiichi-kun, I don't understand what you mean. Why is one of them real thing and all the others are fakes? Why? The secret lies in the octopus. Mister, is this octopus? It's true Akashi octopus, isn't it? In recent years, the number of octopuses caught in Akashi have decreased and their prices have risen drastically. The prices are now so high that you wouldn't even think of using them in takoyaki. The man who had been looking down at the hole while I mumbled, yeah, that's right. Akashi octopus is very expensive. This man absolutely had to have the Akashi octopus. He could have bought much worse quality octopus for cheaper by so much as he wanted, but he would have still been able to fool us everyone. There are plenty of other scamming takoyaki vendors who claim theirs are from Akashi, even though they're not. This man wouldn't accept it. He wouldn't tell the lies. Akashi octopus are supreme! He would never relinquish this one stubborn conviction. This man loved takoyaki. That's why he never lied. There was one point he absolutely had to compromise on. But that might be the number. The popular opinion is that the stick takoyaki should have 8 pieces in it. Even if the real Akashi octopus, he didn't charge 400 yen for just 1 piece, could he? Nobody would buy them. This man wept over it. In order to make 1 true piece of takoyaki, he wouldn't even let himself fly through the other 7. Whoa! This octopus-free takoyaki vendor burst into tears. I gently clapped him on the shoulder. No matter what anyone says, I will never forget how genuine you are. You, sir, are a true vendor of takoyaki. You're the only one in the world with the right to call himself that. Clap, 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 clap. I embrace the shoulders of the man, shedding his manly tears. Those watching deliver a round of applause, moved by my speech. Everyone, I beg you, please eat some of the true takoyaki vendor's takoyaki. If you don't treasure this genuine man like this, then how can we protect the true path of takoyaki? If nobody else ate them, then I will eat them all. What? Everyone's lining up! Keiichi-kun, you did it! You did it! And that, my friends, was the takoyaki rant. I think it's more they thought Keiichi-chan's propaganda speech was interesting, rather than the takoyaki actually looked good. Keiichi-chan, you should probably sell plain with rocks if you tried. You would go over well at the entrance of a conversation. Rika, I never heard of this Akihabara. Where is it? Absolutely stunned by my successful pitch, the guy manning the stall next to this one called out to me. Hey, you guys, do that for my sweets too. Great. You all get the gist of it, right? It's your turn this time, Rena. Okay, I'll do my best. Yes, that is how Keiichi managed to scam people into buying takoyaki with no octopus in it. Okay. When apricot sweets are cold, they're very, very good! The apricot sitting so quietly and nicely on top of the syrup. It's so cute! I want to take it home! It looks like she's lost herself in this midway through. But a girl giving this much natural praise with itself, bringing in some customers. A line quickly formed behind Rena. Next up was the Okonomiyaki stand. Sadako, you're up. Rather well. The crunch of the fried tempura batter mixed with yakisoba is simply to die for. With a huge piece of bacon laid on top, you bite into it, all comes flooding to chomp, chomp, chomp. Yeah, that's freaking great. I want to try some too. Then a huge line formed at my words. What on earth is this? So basically, all these onlookers are just following us around on stands. When people hear about food from others, they try it for themselves. It tastes a lot better than it normally would. So that's it. Even with Rika gorging herself on food, getting sauce on the bib, she put on to prevent her mess. Nice, the older guys are getting on it too. Okay, Kei-chan, which one should I do? Right, Neon, you should do the stand next to that one. Show them the depths of your power. But Keiichi-chan, the stand next to that is, whoops, a goldfish scooping stand. A bit out of our element. Now, as club president, I won't flee no matter what my opponent is. Let's get started. I look forward to the splendid performance, Mion-san. The onlookers were also looking at Mion with hopeful eyes. Welcome, welcome. Here's your net and bowl. Okay, here we go. The goldfish here are energetic today. They really look delicious. Small things like these, you can crunch them down whole. Mutter, mutter. Meh. Mion-san, what in the world are you saying? Mi-chan, you eat them? Did you eat the one that Rena caught last year too? No, I didn't say anything like that. Mion's face went red as she shook it vehemently in denial. I mean, you just said it yourself they look really delicious. Yes, indeed, you did indeed say that, so. My sister, the omnivorous, she eats anything that can go into her mouth. They taste good, I may as well try one next time. No, Rika-chan, don't. You'll get sick. Wait a sec. What happened? What the hell, Shion? How long have you been there? Hey, Kei-chan, Mion-chan, everyone, good evening. Where did you come from, Shion? I've been waiting here since mid with yakisoba. You're so loud, I found you right away. Jeez. You got nothing to do with this, do you? Go somewhere else already. Jeez, Mion, don't treat me so cruelly. Right, Kei-chan? You're okay with me being here, right? She asked me, grabbing my arm and pushing her chest into it. Bounce. Kei-chan, you pervert, your nose is bleeding. When you squish jelly donut and jelly comes out, right? I don't know if that's the localizer, or if that is supposed to be rice cakes, or what's going on there. It's the same, this isn't something I have any control over. Huh, is that right? Will more come out if I squeeze harder? Squeeze! Shion, her cleavage is right up against my chest. Drip. Yeah! Shion, what the heck are you trying to do? How vulgar. I seem to have misjudged you. Oh, my flat chest. Rika-chan clasps in my other arm too. Rub. Wait, what? Holy crap! A plentiful plump feeling on my left shoulder, and I was silent sensation of a young unripe fruit on my right. Oh! Boom bang! Shion, Rika, and I and our faces are now bruised, fell to the ground. Limbs sprawled. Nice job, Rena. Everyone's so dirty! Oh! Rena punched me. It really hurts. Rika-chan, you did get me deserved. Sheesh. Now that Shion was here, the energy around us has increased by 120%. Your friends are so much fun to be on. I never get bored of them. Right. If you weren't here, it'd make me way more funny, you know. I want to stay with you all, but if I continue seducing Kei-chan, my sister looks like she's literally gonna bite my head off. Slow retreat now. I'll be back. See you, Neon. Don't be back. Get the salt. Everyone get the salt. After teasing her older sister so much, Shion ran away in the crowd of people and disappeared. I feel I've borne witness to a rare side of Neon-san. When Mi-chan is with Shi-chan, she's kind of cute. Brenna smiled happily, earning her a whack on the head from Mion. Don't say dumb stuff. Let's get to the next stand already. But just like that, really noisy and lively to the other stands. We're paying money for us at the beginning, but midway through the guys running the shops thought we were too funny, and we ended up being able to fool around without paying much more. They were getting free food? That's awesome. Thump. The bigger sound of a big taiko drum echoed through the air. Rika, it looks like it's time. Yep, looks like it. Right, it's just time for Riki-chan to appear in the officiatory dance. I'm a little nervous. Believe in yourself. All your sweat will definitely be on something, Riki-chan. Neon slapped hard on Rika-chan's back. That's right, you'll do fantastic, Rika-chan. I'll do my best. Yeah, that's the spirit. I ball my hand in a fist and raise it into the air. We're rooting for you, Rika-chan. Go for it. Yay! Remember, go for it. Yay! Rika-chan gave the best smile I'd ever seen, then pivoted her heel and ran off. Okay, we should get going too. Alright, let's go cheer her on. You mustn't! You must keep silent during the performance. I got it, geez, I'm writing in my hand. Through her hair, she was worried about her good friend up to the end. Then we better hurry. All the good spots will be taken. Come on. Mion ran off and everyone else followed a moment later. A large amount of people had already clustered into the tight space to watch the edifying dance. Whoa, this is a lot of people. I turned around at everyone else, but nobody was there. Where did everyone go? They probably got lost amongst the people. Finally, I spotted the back of Mion's head on the other side of the crowd. It really doesn't look like I can get over there. Look, we got separated, no big deal. We can just meet up when Rika-chan's dance is over. I gave up finding the others and wandered around trying to look for a better place where I could be able to see better. It didn't take long for me to realize I'd have to settle for watching between the heads of people in front of me, though. Thump. Once again, a loud taiko drums resounded. This one to announce the beginning of the dance. I couldn't see very well, but it seemed like Rika-chan had come on stage with the elders, who were in priestly garb. I heard a low exhalation of admiration and seniors rubbing their prayer beads in gratitude. Everyone's heads were in the way, so I couldn't see. It was very frustrating. We cut the playtime short here to get good spots earlier. After Rika-chan intoned the prayer, she took the festival hoe and walked to the pile of quilts stacked on the altar. That's right! The point of the ceremony was to purify bedding and hold a memorial service, wasn't it? Then the solemn offertory dance began. She practiced using mochi pounding ballad. The awkwardly shaped festival hoe Rika-chan held seemed really heavy. Back and forth, up and down, it was doubtlessly difficult to even lift in the air when she sweated and waved, raised, and dropped it again and again. She couldn't just deal with it and do it begrudgingly. As the shrine maid, she had to retain dignity and solemnity present at that festival. There must have been a ton of pressure on Rika-chan's shoulders right now. Damn, why am I cheering her from a place I can barely see her? I'm her friend, I should be right up in the best spot rooting for her. Kei-chan, over here. Someone tugged on the back of my shirt collar. It was Shion. She beckoned me outside the crowds of a ring of people. She had this mischievous grin on her face, and I took it as her saying she knew a good place nobody else knew of. Shion, what's up? Just be quiet. Come with me. After she told me so, she ran in a big detour around the throng. Man, it was great to have someone who knows the lay of the land here at times like this. Impressed though as I was, I nearly lost sight of her right away. No more getting separated from me. I ran after her so I wouldn't be left behind. I wondered in anticipation what kind of secret spot Shion had in mind. We left the crowd of people and went around the back of the shrine grounds. Hey, wait, where are we going? We're getting further and further away. Shh. Just stay quiet and follow me. You will understand soon. Shion gave me a wink that reminded me of Mion as she said that. No sign of people, not much moonlight, it was dark. We gotten pretty far away from the crowds of people in Shrine. How are we supposed to see Rika-chan's dance? I see there's some high spot around here, isn't there? Like a rooftop or something we can look down at? Why do you have to climb off on a roof? Well, how else are we supposed to see Rika-chan's dance? Do you really want to see Rika-chan's dance? Rika-chama's dance? Kei-chan? Maybe your strike zone is really low? I don't think we're understanding each other here. Weren't you going to show me somewhere I could see Rika-chan's dance from easily? But who made that promise? What's going on? Why me? Why do I always misunderstand Shion? Is it my fault? Am I just reading things wrong into it? Why'd you call me all the way out here? With an expression that indicated she wasn't fooling around, Shion pressed her index finger to my lips and said slowly quietly, "This place is dark, dead, empty spot you can't see from past the grounds. And now a male and female of the same age are all alone together." Could it this be? She's not planning on something crazy again, is she? Shh. Look over there. See? Shion whispered, pointing at the dark underbrush. And there we saw two figures, one male and one female. What's that? Is that? We're at the scene of a rendezvous, of course. See, look closely. Can you tell who they are? I peered intently at the dark at Shion's suggestion. Oh, it's Tamatake-san and Takano-san. The two of them were clearly breathing quietly, glancing around to make sure nobody knew where they were. They were there as they crouched down before the entrance to a wooden stairhouse. Like building. Wait, Shion? Could this be what you wanted to show me? Kei-chan. You can see Rika-chan's dance any year, but you won't get another chance to see this, okay? I thought the Sonozaki sisters each had their own personalities, but times like these, they seemed all too similar. I'm going back. Don't call me for something like this again. If you move now, they'll see us. At our noisy argument, Takano-san suddenly stopped to look around. Oh my, who might that be? We held our breaths and waited it out, but it seemed like Takano now was acutely aware of our presence. Shion and I exchanged glances and gave up, climbing out from behind the bush. Why, hello there. The moon sure is beautiful tonight, isn't it? My. Isn't Shion-san and Mabara-kun? Good evening. Yes, the moon certainly is pretty. What's this, Keiichi-kun? You sure are smart, you know that. Having a secret date in a place like this? I guess we accidentally interrupted something important. You're the only one who's meeting up secretly. Tamatake-san and Takano-san laughed at themselves, and it got on my nerves for some reason. Wait, so you two aren't having a little rendezvous then? Of course we weren't. Though I don't dislike that kind of romance. Unfortunately, it wasn't the location of a rendezvous either of you would want to see. Sorry for not living up to your expectations. If this wasn't a rendezvous, then what were you doing? Tamatake-san, were you just messing around with the padlock on the door just now? Huh? After she said that, I looked at the two of them again. I definitely saw it. They're hunched in front of a warehouse door, fiddling with a pretty heavy-looking padlock. Guess we've been found out, huh? We were trying to break into the warehouse. Don't tell anyone, alright? Don't tell anyone. Are you thieves or something? I demand unthinkingly just because of how absent-mindedly Tomitake-san was grinning. No, never. Thieves are people who steal things, right? It's not like we're trying to take anything out of there. I see. Then why are you trying to unlock the door? This is a forbidden storehouse for ritual tools. They say only the Furude family and mere handful of others are allowed in. Forbidden storehouse? I took a few steps back at that and looked on the entire warehouse. It certainly looked like one, built removed from any signs of people almost as if in secret. It was filthy, revealing how little there ever was open. It was built to be durable given its strangely overpowering presence. Oh, now it's getting juicy. Now look more closely, it's certainly different from normal warehouses. This place, they're called ritual implements. Basically, this is the warehouse where they store such tools used in rituals. Well, more accurately, maybe it's a temple where the implements are enshrined. The ritual Ho Rika-chan is using for the offertory dances inside here until today. Of course, if anyone but the Furude family enters, they bring impurity into it, so absolutely no one's allowed a single step inside. It's a sanctuary. Should we absolutely not be coming to this place like this, then? However, Takano is wearing a childlike expression, an innocent smile at best, and a terrible grin at worst. I told you I was researching Hinamizawa's folks tales. Legends out of interest in them, didn't I? A lot of answers to questions I'm curious about are hidden away inside here. I've waited all this time until today for this chance. A chance? Everybody's eyes are fixed on the dance at the shrine grounds today. This was the ultimate blind spot. I see, I didn't know you had lockpicking skills, Tomitake-san. Stop it. I don't want to be the one doing this, okay? Sorry for taking you along with me, but this was all thanks to Yuichiro-san. I really am grateful. Sheesh. It's the only time I understand Takano-san. I don't want to be sneaking into places like this. You really are a good person, Jiro-san. Kerclink. Tomitake-san undid the padlock and placed it on the side. It's open. Thank you, at long last. Takano-san gulped with an unusually excited air about her. She gave this heavy door a shove. The sharp smell of mold and dust flowed out from the gaps in the door. I had claimed curses didn't exist, but in this situation, I could believe them. If we went into such a holy place with our shoes on, it felt like we could be punished somehow. How about it? Your accomplices too. Your accomplices too. You came all the way here. Why not come in and take a look? Take the tour. It'll be a little field trip to the Museum of Precious Cultural Artifacts, the Concealed Secret History of Hinamizawa. It's only open today, hee hee. We're not accomplices or anything. Aren't you interested, though? Come on, let's take a peek. She said predictably, linking her arm with mine. But we definitely should not be doing this. Really? Doing something you should not be. Why is that the start of every horror movie plot I've ever heard of? This is the holy warehouse, isn't it? You said ritual implements, right? I really feel like we shouldn't go in. I'm part of the Senozaki family, so I had a good guess on what we'll find in there. But I wanted you to see it too, Kei-chan. You want to show something to me? I thought it was just a ploy, but Shion's eyes looked entirely serious. Of course she was the sort who could lie with a straight face. Of course I was an average boy, too. My curiosity at least twice that of a normal person. Plus, let's face it. Two pretty girls. Kei-chan was screwed out from the start. If I had to choose, then I want to see. Until the locked door's open, though. I don't know about this. If you're not interested, Kei-chan, then you can leave now. I think I'll wonder about it later, though. Tomitake-san spoke after listening to our discussion, himself having sat down on the stairs to take a short rest. I'll keep watch here. Go ahead and check it out with them. I'm not too interested, but it might be pretty interesting for a young guy like you, Keiichi-kun. Foo, he said, laughing mischievously. There was no ill will in his laughter. Tomitake-san, do you know what's in there?
Kind of. Takano told me all about it. Must be a pain to have to go along with your companion's unique hobbies, huh? Takano-san didn't answer that, only responded with a pained smile. Takano-san had this kind of scary air about her, like she'd drop absolutely everything else for something that she had an interest in, and go straight for it, but Takano-san, on the other hand, seemed like the gold standard of what a normal person should be. Having him tell me frankly to go check it out suddenly made the guilt feel lighter. Okay, but just a little bit. If it's not interesting, I'm leaving. You got it. Shion gave me another look. Looks like we're decided. Shall we go inside? Shiro-san, we'll leave this to you. Takano-san waved his hand to see us off. Inside was pitch black, but Takano-san turned on the battery-powered lantern she brought, revealing a pretty cramped front door. It's so dark in here. Everyone take care not to trip over anything. I appreciate the concern. Okay, doorman, keep a good watch. We're shutting the door now. Takano-san smiled spitefully as if leaving Takano-san out of something fun and began to close the door. Man, alright, everyone have fun. There was a low, heavy noise, loud noise, and we were completely cut off from the outside world and covered in silent darkness. Takano-san's lantern was the only light we had. It'll be fine. It's an outdoor lantern with backup batteries inside. Won't go out or anything. Looks like Takano noticed my unease. I couldn't help but blush a little and averted my eyes. Deeper inside, there was a heavy, old but sturdy door with solemn decorations on it. His last door ceiling or whatever was within. Strange how it has an anteroom even though it's just a warehouse, isn't it? I believe it's set up this way so that if you open one door at a time, never letting the room with all the tools be seen from the outside. Takano-san explained this, effectively impressed by the construction. But still, it's really dark in here, huh? That over there, I spotted a circuit breaker hanging from the clump of wire clumsily attached to the wall. Oh, here, isn't this the light switch or something? I flipped the biggest switch I could find, and with that click, the pitch-black room was illuminated by an old, bare light bulb. Everyone crunched up their faces as the sun was strobe-like brightness. Don't! Before she even finished, Shion had slapped my hand and flipped the switch back. There was another click, and the room returned to darkness, with only the lantern for illumination. Ow. You can't, Kei-chan. You snuck in here, remember? Turn on the light, it might give us away. I'm scolded by Shion fairly harshly. Looks like she was worried about whether or not someone had seen them from the momentary light. It's alright. It's only for a moment. Takano-san remained as a relaxed adult. It seemed like she was confident she could talk her way out of it if someone did see us coming. Let's go in. Here we go. There. Even the heavier door opened, and this time, it wasn't just the dust that came out of the air. There was a nasty smell. One smell was like opening a dust-filled cupboard in the back of the kitchen that hadn't been opened in years. The other smell, the nasty one, was hard to explain, but it was like raw odor of a fish market? From how the sound echoed, this room felt far larger than the first. Takano held up her lantern and revealed the contents of the expansive room. Whoa! At the back of the storehouse, right in front of us, was a Buddha-like object, standing there, looking down at us. I was taken aback by the unseen force, lit up by the slender beam of the lantern. That's the guardian god of Hinamizawa, or Ishiro-sama. It's a far grander one than the one at the shrine. Or Ishiro-sama. So this is the spirit protecting Hinamizawa. The one guarding the Holy Land of Hinamizawa from the impurities of the outside world, and the one delivering punishment after punishment upon those who attempt to sully the land with their damn construction. It looks like there are far more tools stored here than I thought, but this is so sad. None of them are maintained. How unfortunate that they're in this state. Even in the dim light, I could see the lot of strange objects lining the walls and ceilings and shelves. Takano, speaking as if in a trance, was infatuated by the various implements filling the dark room. They weren't festival-like or traditional, but instead they were more like a workshop of a blacksmith or carpenter.
There's a lot of wood metal tools packed in here. Putting it bluntly, it all looked like pretty boring stuff. I'd imagine there had been much more artistic things here from the Heian period, but these are far cry from the cultural artifacts. My expression betrayed my dashed hopes, and they were caught on right away. Oh, is it not interesting for you? I'm not interested in literature or art, so I can look at the stuff, but I don't really understand its value. Keishkin, you really do look like you don't get it. I guess that's only natural. Takano-san reached into a paper bag that she'd been holding the whole time. She got a worn scrapbook and began flipping through it. But just for you, Keishkin, I'll tell you an old story. It's a common tale in this region. Go to the library, it'll be even on their recommended reading list. I think stories in such a dark, creepy place. She must have had a horror story in mind. She, you think? Shion's face bellied nothing but calm. She had the same personality as Mion, as she had found the fault with me being scared. I'd endured it for now and pretend to be calm. Okay, alright, I'll read it. After confirming I was going to be quiet and listen, she began to speak softly like a kindergarten teacher reading a picture book. Long, long ago, in a certain village in the mountains, there was a swamp. This swamp was very, very deep. Some would even call it bottomless. People said it was connected to Hell, the land of the demons. Rumors said it was deeper in the ocean and that anyone swallowed would sink to an underworld, a bottomless swamp. The name was Watangashi. Wait. I thought back to the story I heard yesterday about Sakura sinking to the bottom of the swamp. Could that be the swamp she's talking about? So the village was Hinamizawa, right? You catch on quickly. That's right. It was called Gafuchi Village at the time. Gafuchi Village. That's a pretty inauspicious name. It was quite the image, doesn't it? I hear the name was changed in Meiji period. The name of the swamp next to the hell was Onikafuchi, which means the demon's abyss. And the true name of the village, Hinamizawa, was Onikafuchi Village. The villagers belonged to that abyss, or to hell, in other words. They lived their lives worshipping the swamp connected to it. But then one day, demons began appearing, one after another, from deep in the swamp. The villagers feared that hell was overflowing. The demons mercilessly attacked the villagers. They could only watch in fear, and they could do no more than hide themselves, tremble. So did someone exterminate the demons? Unfortunately, there's no much Haro or Superman in these fairy tales. And did they get the whole village together to fight them? Heavens no, the villagers weren't nearly strong enough to fight on equal terms with the demons. The only recourse was to flee the village. They couldn't do that either, since the villagers, it was their beloved homeland. It didn't matter how terrified the demons, they wouldn't have run away so easily. So then what did they do? Would they just get wiped out? Able to fight, unable to run, all they could do was wait for the village to be destroyed. Then, when everyone had lost hope, their god, Oishiro-sama, descended unto them. I see, so Oishiro-sama came from the sky and beat up all the demons then? You're such a boy, Keiichi-chan. Always jump to the straight use of force to resolve things. She sighed, a little annoyed and embarrassed even at my outlook. The thing about Oishiro-sama, he wasn't a violent god to beat them up, like you're saying. He was a kind god, filled with love and benevolence. The strength of Oishiro-sama descended from the heavens couldn't be compared to that of the demons. They didn't even fight, they simply prostrated themselves before his radiant authority. Oishiro urged them to go back to hell from whence they came, but the demons wept, and challenged them, saying they could never return. The world of demons, too, has harsh commandments. They claim they have been banished from hell. Demons. They don't have a place to go, either in hell or in the human world. Of course, they were at fault for attacking the village. They simply reflected on that and were sorry. As villagers conversed themselves, little by little they came to pity the demons, and after talking to everyone in the village, they decided to live alongside them. A lot of fairy tales have them being exterminated or driven away, but you don't often hear the ones about where they live in peace. You're right. Demons are supposed to symbolize evils. A story where they decide to live together humans certainly is strange. Yep. When the demons first heard of the village's invitation, they doubted their ears but soon burst in tears of joy. The villagers had given them a place to live. They said that in payment for the good deed, they even shared their many kinds of power and secrets with the villagers. Oyashiro was very pleased with this happy exchange. He gave the demons bodies of humans so they could be indistinguishable from the villagers. He himself decided to stay on the surface and watch over the everlasting peace between them. The land in which man, demon, and god lived together. I thought the word demon was a noun meaning evil that needs to be exterminated. A god may have mediated for them, but they don't often hear happy endings where both sides live in harmony. I guess it's kind of interesting. Well, the normal fairy tale ends there. It was revised quite a bit during the Edo period in the much longer story. After that, the humans and demons intermixed, and eventually there was no difference between them. So the demons ended up disappearing? No, not at all. Half of them stayed just as they were. The knowledge of the villagers received from the demons basically made them into something inhuman, what people called transcendent. They were well aware of the power that they had was heresy, and those below worshipped them. They lived out their lives in secrecy. The story is the root of many derivative tales and pieces of fiction. It's the foundation, I mean, the basis. What do you mean by root? Because part of the villagers the part about villagers having demon blood. What I mean is, all the legends from around here are based on the premise that villagers descended from demons. There was a hint of amusement in Shion's voice as she said that. It was like she wanted to say that she too had a demon blood in her. Is there any proof, though? Maybe it's somehow rooted in historical fact beyond just fairy tales. Oh, Abarka, do you believe that demons really did come out of the swamp and breed humans? It's not like I don't believe it, but when she said demon, she meant the ones from the hell, but in ancient Japan, the word wasn't necessarily used to denote only that kind, right? The more well-known use involves drifting foreigner theory. As the story goes, Westerners who were shipwrecked nearby seas had just markedly different customs that they were called demons. Japanese people were relatively similar in appearance to other Asians, but everything about those in the West were different. Their physiques, their faces, their skin color. In Japan, the term red demon or blue demon evoked images especially of Westerners. Lacking the skin pigments, Westerners would be sunburned more easily or turn red. Being fair-skinned, I think blood vessels appeared in their skin would look blue, too. A handful of accidental aliens who drifted into Japan came under persecution, being called demons. They would flee into the mountains to survive and turn into bandit groups attacking villages for food and like. How does that explanation sound? Maybe it's a bit more childish. Takano gave me a weird smile. Having come up with such an prompt hypothesis, I unconsciously followed it with self-deprecation. Still, she didn't seem to smile as if it was made to make fun of me. It's not ridiculous. There are lots of people who just subscribe to the drifting foreigner theory. Even so, nobody actually knows what happened. Were they groups of foreigners who had turned into banditry, or were they really demons who came from the bottom of the world? Then, Takano-san, which one do you believe? The truth of the matter is that I'd rather believe the more fantastical explanation. It's more fun that way, isn't it? Her answer made her sound a wee bit like a romanticist. Hi, I'm a romanticist. I thought she'd reject the unrealistic stories like that. Now then, this is where the fun begins. Takano-san brought an end to her storytelling and waited for the moment as it was tantalizing us. Suddenly, Shion looked around as if something had caught her eye. Her head bobbed to and fro like she was making sure nothing had happened. What's wrong, Shion? I'm sorry, please don't worry about it. Shion pretended as if nothing had happened. Takano-san also made sure nothing had happened, and cleared her throat, broaching the next subject. I explained that half the villagers have demon blood. That blood, they actually say, is the blood of the kind of demon that eats people. Man-eating demons? That escalated quickly. That blood still runs through the villagers' veins. They say that sometimes the blood awakens from its slumber. The fairy tale has a happy ending. The human and demons living in peace began suddenly changed into a brutal blood-feast story. Well, they eat people. They say that every decade or so they couldn't help but want to feast on a human flesh. Villagers can't eat other villagers, so when this happens, they said they descend on the human villagers and conduct onikakushi.
What's Onikakushi? Broadly speaking, it's when a demon kidnaps someone when a person is demoned away. Say the villagers of Onikakushi would overwhelm unfortunate villagers in order to kidnap sacrifices. Takano's explanation was plain and simple, but when I imagine what it must have been like, it was quite terrifying. They lose their human reason. The villagers turn into real demons en masse. They attack the villages they loathed in the dirty world of the masses below. Then they kill and eat their sacrifices. So they're no different from the demons after all. What did Orishiro-sama do? Wasn't he supposed to be staying in the village and watching over them? Orishiro-sama knew about this, of course. Onikakushi isn't indiscriminate. Villagers apparently never kidnapped anyone other than the sacrifices decided upon by their god. In the text, it's usually a village inhabited by I missed something. Wasn't he supposed to be saying blah blah blah? Because she knew something worse. It isn't indiscriminate. The villagers apparently never kidnapped anyone other than the sacrifice decided by their god in the text. It's usually 1 or 2 people. A village inhabited by both human and inhuman. It was like the heartwarming episode colors that inverted like a negative film, revealing the painful and ugly truth. So the nights when they raided the villages, they would feast on their kidnapped sacrifices, which is why the night comes to be known as Watangashi. Watangashi, tonight's festival was Watangashi. I couldn't just reconcile the fun festival with the horrible tale Takano was just telling me. Watangashi, well, wasn't it about giving thanks to the futons we use over the winter or something? Kei-chan, Wata has another meaning, you know. It means entrails. Yeah, that's creepy. Shion, who had been silent until now, spoke up. Entrails. Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Like fish guts. Wait, what? Like a jigsaw puzzle. The fun times I had today. Takano's grotesque tale clicked together in my mind. Watangashi, so it's gut spilling. I didn't think saying it could ever feel so nauseating. Yes. It's as you imagine, Mabarakun. Right now, the Watangashi Festival might just be a somewhat early summer festival occurring every June, but it's also used to be different. It used to be a ghastly, cannibalistic feast held on the night of the villagers had collected their unfortunate dinner. That can't be true! That's not true! That's impossible! I had no real reason to say this, but I couldn't help it. Mabarakun, you said Watangashi is a ritual about purifying futons, right? What do you think the futons filled with cotton and what Wata represent? Futons are futons. They're beds. They're the things we're sleeping in. What else could they possibly represent? I was rattling on, desperate, attempting to deny the horrible festival that Takano was describing. Deep down, however, I found myself understanding all too well what she meant. Futon stuffed with cotton. Cotton represented the entrails in both the pronunciation and meaning of the entrail-filled futons would have to be humans. Why don't you think the oratory dance Rika-chan was performing? Do you know what she was doing up there? No, I don't. I didn't even watch the whole thing anyway. Shh. Kei-chan, you're getting worked up. Chan grabbed one of my ears and reminded me that this wasn't somewhere I should raise my voice. Even so, I couldn't suppress the agitation I felt. Rika-chan was carrying a festival hoe. You probably realized it already, but there's not a hoe for plowing fields. It's a tool for dissecting human bodies. I didn't see the dance all the way through, so I don't know what kind of performance Rika-chan was putting on after I left. When I told this to Takano, she kindly explained Rika-chan's dance to me. To summarize what she said after what I've seen, Rika-chan would pierce the futons with the hoe, cut them open, and pull out the cotton inside. Cut the cotton out in one bit at a time and set them afloat. That's the kind of ritual it was. Broadly speaking, it's quite a bombastic ceremony where they'd rip the guts and throw them in the basin. And then the ritual was over. It's thought that afterwards, villagers each with a different role dismantled the flesh piece by piece and feast upon it. Hee hee. At Takano's strangely happy giggle, I felt
for some reason, violent displeasure. Rika-chan. Every day or lunch break, she'd take rice pudding melon in school, and she'd work hard, sweating bullets to practice for the upper dance she had done today. All that effort, all that work, Takano-san disgraced it. Even though she worked so hard to practice it today. Takano-san, I think you should choose your words more carefully. Kei-chan's pretty naive, so please don't tease him like so much. After a moment before I opened my mouth to express how angry I was, Shion stopped me. She must have been fully aware of how the story made me feel. I'm sorry. I thought you'd like a story with that sort of shock value since you're a boy. Takano spoke without a hint of malice as she smiled gracefully. If you're hearing that, did you figure out what kind of stuff is in the storehouse, Kei-chan? See, look. Shion pointed out one of the walls, vaguely illuminated by a lantern light. There it was. Years months ago, they hadn't held my interest. They looked like boring old tools lined up on the shelf. Ugh. All those uninteresting tools I didn't understand how to use, they all suddenly took on a new meaning. I couldn't help but groan. At first, they looked like carpentry tools like chisels or planes. However, when I looked back, I'd seen pictures of these tools before. Yeah, they came up in Japanese history textbooks. On the pages introducing Katai Shinsho or new text on anatomy. Sorry guys, I gotta take this call. I'll be right back. Hello? I'm good. No, I can't. I'm busy today. Okay, bye. Work's trying to call me in on my day off. Sorry about that. Work's just trying to call me in. But it's my day off and I want to enjoy it. They're printed realistically in literature of Germany, a capital of medical world. These aren't carpentry tools at all. These strangely shaped tools, they're for dissection. Everyone knows that in the Edo period, they would dissect the corpses of those who have been put to death in order to gain the knowledge of Western medical techniques. Illustrations of the dissection tools they used at the time came up in textbook supplements. The things hung up on this wall all look exactly the same as those. If you want a scarier way of looking at it, then think of them as cooking utensils. Hee. Takano, holding the lantern, only lighting the source of the room, led us along the wall. She'd only light, so I had to walk after her whether I liked it or not. Look. Takano illuminated a coiled chain, which left a big impression than the other things we saw. The chain itself was nothing unusual, but further along were metal fetters that were like hinges, clearly meant for binding people. Kei-chan, look at that! Shion tapped me on the shoulder and pointed to a restraining table, which clearly shaped like a person. My spine froze, my blood felt like it was turning into a sherbet as it crawled up my back. On each of the joints there were things like chains and iron balls attached. It was like the table was searching for its next sacrifice, ready to spread their arms wide and close around them. It's probably a chopping block. I think he'd strap the sacrifice down and prep them for eating. The words chopping block sent a jolt through my body. When I looked more closely, there were many dark slices carved into it, as through from a knife or a saw. They were the most clear-cut signs of usage you could ask for. It proved these tools were not just for show, they were used for their original purpose. If someone was strapped tightly on this table, they probably wouldn't be able to move even a muscle. Their guts would be defenseless. You'd take one of the eerie-looking cooking knives lined up over there and stab them with it. You slice open their bellies and dissect them. I'd heard stories, but this is incredible. Before coming in here, Shion had mentioned she had a good guess of what was inside, but it seemed to exceed her imagination. There's still more. How about it? More fascinating was the wax museum, isn't it? More fascinating than a wax museum, isn't it? Takano-san had this happy expression like she was visiting a toy store for the first time. I don't get it. This Mio Takano person had nerves of steel. Are these bizarre, grotesque objects that fascinated her? I, for one, was not enjoying myself. I'll be frank. This was all too weird for me. Still, there was something more horrifying than all this. That none other than Takano-san herself. Takano was holding the lantern, giving off such thin beams of light. If she suddenly turned it off, then what would I do when the next moment everything went totally dark? That's why I was scared. Takano-san had the only light. Anyway, I was scared. At some point, Shion had started holding onto my arm, my shirt sleeve. It was a little annoying to walk like that, but I didn't shake her off. This minor sensation allowed me to feel the presence of an ally here and now. Before I even walked halfway through the storehouse, the air felt on my skin changed completely. These cruel tools lined up, all crammed together in this place. Some were horrible ones that made to take away sacrifices freedom, and some tools were made to efficiently disassemble and prepare bodies for consumption. Those were just things I understood. There were plenty of other strange things-looking objects I couldn't even guess the purpose of. Then I was here, I didn't have the slightest desire to hear the details or what sort of terrifying reasons they were meant to be used for. At the very least, they were all completely different from the sort of simple cleaning functions of a katana. Tools to kill people obviously constructed in such a way that they could kill people. If that was the goal, then people could use them and obviously end up dead. The kind of tools here, however, were different. The tools that were here were for cutting people, for crushing them, for boiling them and cooking them, for grinding them. They were tools of torture. They weren't made to kill people. People dying were just an incidental result. Actually, might even kill them. If the sacrifice could die during such a horrifying ritual process, that would be nice, but they couldn't even die in the end. They'd remain in the state of hellish pain, perhaps they're being allowed to live. Only now in that moment did I realize just how terrifying and fearsome that difference was. People, you see, most of these wouldn't kill them, but if used properly. Takano-san, is reading my mind, displayed a shocking smile. Burning at the stake, the famous method of executing for witches, would kill a person immediately. When the body suffers extreme burns on the skin all over, the decomposition of the skin's chemical makeup produces poison-like symptoms and causes immense shock to the victim. This is very cruel compared to the guillotine, which had to wait far longer for that to happen. She describes such horrors in a strangely medical way. Shion immediately answered the question I had. Takano-san is a nurse. There's a saying that nothing can scare a doctor. I guess it's true. Oh, and also, there's a method of execution in ancient Rome where they would just grill the person. Like a barbecue. They would cover the person in wire and netting, slowly cooking them over a charcoal fire. To think the memories of when I went to a day camping with my family would come back rushing back now of all time so vividly. That's what it was like. Apparently they wouldn't die so easily for some reason. According to one source, even if they roasted one side of the person to a crisp for an entire night, they'd still be conscious and able to speak fluently. That's insane. You grill someone for the whole day and they'd still be conscious. It said the ancient Rome, famous for their executions, thought of plenty of ways to execute someone while having the victim stay alive as long as possible. Among them, there was one method where they would open the gut, pulling out intestines like sausages and put them on wince and put them on public display. Shion was behind me, clinging to me. Not just because she was scared. She was protecting her stomach. You'd think someone with their intestines pulled out would die instantly, right? Actually, as long as you do it tenderly and thoroughly, it's only possible to pull them out while the person is still conscious. I felt a sickening feeling in my stomach. It was like my organs were coiling, just from the Takano's stare.
The pulling them out with the winds was rather exaggerated method. In a more barbaric way, they'd just slice open the gun and then cut the intestines out and throw them everywhere. It's quite imaginable that they did dreadful things like that too. I think that would be more merciful just because you die quicker. However, those being put to death are conscious. It must be far more terrifying than painful. No, it's both. That's what's so terrifying. She spoke with pleasure and now your narrator's screwing up constantly. Because me imagining this shit is terrifying. Okay. She come here on a sightseeing. She spoke with pleasure as if she'd come here on a sightseeing trip. There. I heard Shion gulping multiple times. Perhaps Hinamizawa, or rather Onigafuchi village, did something like that in Watangashi festival. Listen, if you try hard, you can hear it. I wanted nothing more than to not hear anything at all. So why only at times like these do I begin to hear things I shouldn't be able to? That was a bell. Takano-san, having realized she'd scared Shion and I enough at this point, smiled soothingly. Then she turned to heel and raised the lantern and began to walk again. If Takano left us here, we'd get even further away from the light. Shion and I, no matter how scared we are, we're forced to follow Takano-san along her field trip through the ritual storehouse. I suppose we've seen a bit of everything. See? This place is interesting, isn't it? She says, raising the lantern high in the center of the storeroom. The dim lighting didn't change. For some reason, it felt like I was being able to see all the horrible tools at once. Kei-chan? Look up! Shion stammered while grabbing the nape of my neck. I couldn't tell because it was so dark, but there was a lot more tools hanging off the ceiling as well. They looked like they were made of iron bars, and then I figured out cages. For cages, they were very small. Cramped cages, just for one. Like a casket. Got locked up in there, you wouldn't get locked up inside it. It was another tool meant to restrain people, where the iron bars would squeeze you tightly. So many big and large things of all shapes were hanging down. Takano's mention of execution by grill crossed my mind. We're just surrounded on all sides, but these were terrifying instruments. Things crowding the ceiling were even hanging above our heads. There are many of these sort of bird cages among European torture devices. I'm surprised you see them in Japan as well. Kei-chan, is there something in there? A person? A mummy? Where? Shion desperately pointed out one of the many human-sized bird cages hanging from the ceiling, which I couldn't tell which one she meant. Being that dark, there wasn't any way you could tell if something was in there in the first place. I don't see anything. You sure you're not seeing things? Shion didn't seem convinced, but without much means to confirm for ourselves, we didn't do much but wonder. Baraku, after seeing this, have you come to believe in all of it? The countless terrible rituals passed down in Hinamizawa? It's got nothing to do with believing in them. Then I've seen the real thing like this. There's no possible way I can deny it. Even the nations of Europe, with all their beautiful landscapes and legends, were like maelstroms during the terrible witch hunts in the Dark Ages. It's well known that the era gave birth to countless gruesome forms of torture and execution. Japan was the same way. Didn't it have its own era? Did it have its own era of hellscape, like torture feasts because religious suppression and things of that nature? Hinamizawa itself had such a period. It had so much history behind it. Even in Europe, the land of the witch hunts, that was all far in the past. No more than a series of historical events. Even in this age, nothing that abnormal would ever happen. That must apply to Hinozawa as well. Just as Europe had its Dark Age, Hinozawa had one too. That's how this should be taken. Even if things really are happened in Hinozawa, they're all long past. They don't have anything to do with people's lives in Hinozawa right now. Mabara-kun, you really do like this village. Doesn't sound like she was making fun of me. Takano gave me a light smile. Takano, you're researching whether those customs survived in the present. You are right? Shion suggested something that made my heart leap in my throat. Are you telling me these horrible things are still going on even today? The sad part is about our world, there's probably places where that shit still happens. Especially in third world countries where conflict is the norm. What I'm telling you is a secret, alright? I told you, Shion-chan, because you're an understanding person, but the other villagers don't want to hear it. If things go awry, I could be ganged up on unpunished. Shion flashed a devilish smile as if reveling in the immorality of it. Mabara-kun, could you keep the secret too? If this gets out, I could suffer Oishiro-sama's curse or maybe made into a sacrifice. If it's the curse, then I wonder what kind of death it'll be this year. If it's the sacrifice, then I will be thrown into Onigafuchi swamp while still alive. Yep. Now, why would this village have a pile of torture devices just sitting in a random shed storehouse somewhere? That is extremely suspicious and totally within the realms of what I would call a horror story. It is tonight, you know, the night of the Oishiro-sama curse. And this is why this is, out of all the anime and visual novels that I've read as far as horror stuff is concerned, this is one of the best, in my opinion. Because it has so many layers to it. Like, we didn't get a whiff of the torture device stuff at all in the first arc, but we're getting them in the second arc. And oh boy, I know what's coming up soon, and that's gonna be interesting. Takano-san said, bring your face right up close to ours. As if to say that she had no choice, she'd rather suffer the curse. That's what she seemed to be implying. Plus this horror movie moment of, like, sneaking into a creepy frickin' shed and then finding all these torture stuff. Like, that's already bad mojo for poor Keiichi. Takano-san took a fairly worn-out notebook out of her paper bag and began to flip through its pages. There are all sorts of references and newspaper clippings attached to them and had all manner of things written inside. Well, as the story, as I've narrated, a lot of the torture devices were clearly imported because the text actually mentions how some of them came from Europe and how eventually, and Rome and stuff. Like, obviously, much like the witch hunts and Inquisition and stuff, Japan still had its era of that sort of stuff happening. And either they made it up same as the Westerners did, or the Westerners brought it and sold it to the Japanese folk. That's probably how this stuff ended up here. And, you know, maybe it is that the fact that they're demons or something. Who knows? That's part of the mystery of this story. There's all sorts of references, clippings attached, all manner of things written inside. The letters were very small, bunched together, so I couldn't tell against what it was about. Well, let me put it this way. They mentioned the three great houses of Hinozawa, and chances are, maybe not necessarily Rika's dad or mom, but maybe her great-grandparents may have used this stuff. Or maybe Shion and Mion's great-grandparents probably might have used this stuff. That's kind of the implication that the story's giving us here. And, you know, Sonozakis are loaded, they're rich. They could have easily, they're very much old money rich, and they likely, much like how Mion is game obsessed with buying all these board games and card games and stuff, it wouldn't take very much imagination to picture her grandparents maybe importing the stuff for whatever dark conspiracy BS Hinamizawa actually was doing 10, 20, 50, 100 years ago. That's kind of the implication that the story's giving us right now. Here it is. A photocopy of a page from some book was slid into the notebook, and it too was written in a small, tight lettering. Like the other pages, I couldn't tell what it was just by glancing at it. This story that actually happened is around the end of the Meiji era. They discovered an unknown mangled corpse, the victim of the murder in Onigafuchi village. An old newspaper clipping attached to the page that spoke something that a no mere rumor or fairy tale. We don't have most of the police documents from that time anymore, so it's all based on oral tradition and memories. She's not clear, but it looks like a cutout paper from the Meiji era. Never before has there been a corpse treated with such cruelty and inhumanity. Could it be the work of a demon? That would probably be a clear sign that these tools were probably used. Like, these are likely, the tools that are in the shed are very likely the tools that were used on this body. Being a copy of a copy, it's not very hard to make out, but it's more than enough to make me feel strangely tense. Near the end of the Meiji era, an old Onigafuchi village, a mangled corpse was discovered. The identity of the corpse was unknown. It wasn't even in a state where it could be identified in the first place. It was missing a head, and each limb was separated from the body. Skin had been peeled off the entire body, and there was markings that implied terrible torture in places unimaginable. Not only that, but the belly had been cut open by a sharp knife, with the entrails completely dragged out. The police immediately began investigation, but since they couldn't even identify the identity of the victim, much less the criminal finding answers, was extremely difficult. Doesn't that remind you of the dismemberment case with the dam supervisor earlier in the story? Because that's what that's reminding me of. Do you understand what it must have been like? I couldn't imagine such a strange sight even if I tried. This is the first time I ever am thankful for my lack of imagination. The victim was skinned while alive, underwent all kinds of torture, and was killed brutally. The author here also thinks that even after death, the remains were divided and dissected even further, the epitome of inhumanity. I'm of the opinion that the entire process was performed while the person was still alive, though. Why do you think, Mahabaru-kun? She spoke up in a way intended to make me imagine even more vicious things. My brain was already far above capacity, however, there's no way I could imagine anything more brutal. Then when I broke my gaze from Takano-san's, those strangely shaped weird tools were all around us. I wonder if I could faithfully reproduce the mutilated corpse discovered at the end of the Meiji era with the tools found in this place. Gee, you think? I want to deny it. I don't want to admit that something so horrible could happen at all. Even so, they're very strange, so terrifying, these tools. Even if they ever seen through my attempts to escape from them, they did nothing but ridicule me silently. So that creepy incident, what was it in the end? The author said regarding Onigafuchi village, dreadful customs they had survived during the recent post-Meiji days? That perhaps they lasted until the beginning of the Showa period? His corpse, at a glance, had been brutally killed after a period of torture. In actuality, however, it was the pitiful sacrificial remains of the man-eater's terrifying feast. The corpse was just leftovers. It was so fantastic, so strange that it didn't feel real. Was this the extension of the legends too? It happened in the Meiji era, which just too recently became a legend. Also, there's newspaper clippings right here suggesting it. Okay, but if it's really happened, was it a long time ago, right? I mean, the Meiji era ended 100 years ago. So yeah, the Sonozaki grandparents' great-parents' grandparents' era.
That's all. Only 100 years ago. Besides, it kept happening even after the beginning of the Showa period. Like the uproar around the post-war canned flesh incident. Oh, I apologize. That story was taboo, wasn't it? Takano immediately stopped talking as if worried about Shion. Shion briefly looked somewhat angry, but that expression soon disappeared. Huh? Takano, what did you just say? Canned flesh? Just then, there's a huge creaking sound. Everyone whipped around to look. It was Tomotaki-san who opened the door slightly. Did I startle you? Oh, Jiro-san, you couldn't resist seeing inside. This is a splendid treasure trove of torture devices. I'll pass on that. I'm bad with this sort of thing by nature. Takano-san held her stomach, and as muffled her laughter, she wanted to make a comment about his masculinity. In any case, the dance and ceremony are over. Everyone's going down to the stream. The festival will be over in a few minutes. Oh, that's not good. Habara-kun, could you just... You're such a good listener, I couldn't help but help telling stories. How do you not mention me in this place like this? Jiro-san, can you wait up front? I want to take a few pictures. Actually, a lot of tools I'd like to bring home, if we obviously can't do that. Takano-san took the camera out of his bag and began snapping photos. She looked like she was having fun, like she was on a scavenger hunt. Keiji-kun, are you leaving too? I've seen enough. Shion, you're good too, right? Let's get out of here. I want some fresh air. I agree. Let's leave. Like now. Like yesterday. Now. I did feel a bit of hesitation leaving Takano by himself in this darkness, but when I thought about it, I realized that whatever kind of evil spirits and ghosts lurked in the darkness, none of them could hold a candle to how scary she was. If a phantasm were to appear, she'd be overjoyed and flash her camera at it. It seemed like she hadn't shared my somewhat rude mental images. I feel like there's a mistranslation a few lines back. Oh well. Seemed like Shion shared my stomach mental images. Her changed glances and smiled painfully. Left Takano-san there, fades in her strobe light, camera flashes, decides to go leave this ritual house. You asked about scary moments. I'm pretty sure that counts. Everyone in the festival seems to have gone to the stream, so their voices were very distant. The voices of the bugs, on the other hand, were clear, lending an empty feeling of isolation to the place. How was it? Interesting? Tomotaki-san gave me a somewhat mischievous grin. He should have been able to tell by the look on how pale our faces were. I should have kept watch outside with you, Tomotaki-san. Tomotaki laughed so delightfully and wiped away all our dark feelings. How did you fare, Shion-chan? Were you scared? I was prepared for it. I wasn't so afraid, but seeing the real thing was powerful. Shion spoke like she wasn't scared at all. Oh, right, because she kind of knew what was in there already. It's just, she didn't know for sure until she actually looked. She really had been quite afraid, but seeing as how I was in the way worse state than her, I didn't have much room to talk. As Tomotaki-san grinned, candidly, my mind exhausted, locked up by his nervousness, began to calm itself. Was Takano-san an adult with a little expedition? You know how she seems like a child sometimes? I thought she'd be way too excited. Both Shion and I laughed, left as our answer. Hopefully she was only looking at things. Well, yeah, and telling creepy stories. And basically being a giggly schoolgirl over it. Hopefully she was just looking at things I was ready to see something out of there. Or mess with the ritual implement too much and break it or something. Yeah, that's quite a possibility. She is alone in there right now, so she might pilfer something small and easily concealed, hiding it in her pocket. Yeah, I can see that. Shion said that I was thinking. You're sure she didn't break anything? I can clearly hear some noise like someone jumping up and down. I was getting pretty nervous. I'm sorry. I ran out of film. Shiro-san, you have any more that I can use? Takano-san suddenly appeared like we were talking about her, taking everyone by surprise. Tomotaki-san smoothly grinned and responded as if nothing had happened. He's pretty mature. I'm out of spirit film. Sorry about that. Jeez. Don't win any Pulitzers by not stocking enough film for every occasion, you know. I suppose that's it, then. Tomotaki-san scratched his head apologetically. Without film, we're done here. Takano seemed to have given up because of that, too. We checked carefully to make sure we hadn't left anything inside, then closed the door and turned the heavy padlock to left beside it. You didn't sneak anything out, right, Takano?
How rude. I'm trying not to be that childish.
Kirk laughed. Tomotaki set the padlock back the way it was before. From a cursory glance, it didn't look like these had snuck in at all.
Okay, let's get over the stream to the stream ourselves.
Well, at least set some cotton afloat. There won't be any point in coming to the festival. Tomotaki-san spoke brightly, urging us on. Setting the cotton afloat down the stream. I shake my head a few times to drive away my dismal thoughts at the double meaning. Takano-san, looking a little let down, kept turning back to glance at the ritual storehouse. Let's just leave it at that, alright? You saw enough to sate your curiosity, didn't you? Oh, not at all. Everything I found only renewed my interest. All these stories and legends suddenly hold water. After that, I'm gonna have it change the way I look at all this. Wow, she's truly indomitable. Her curiosity really is something else. Still interesting in all this, through and through. We descended the stone stairs, and all people crowded around the stream came to view. Near the bottom of the stairs, we could clearly see the people receiving cotton and having cut out for them and wishing upon the cotton and setting it afloat downstream. The festival was already over. Damn, I missed my chance to photograph for the best part of Watangashi.
Oh, but it's not too late.
I'm going to go set them afloat. Perhaps you could take pictures of me. Takano, with an impish expression, brought her head to Tomotaki's shoulders. Despite his age, he did look embarrassed. I felt honest respect for Tomotaki-san, the man for dating such a handful of a woman. Goodbye, then, Mabara-kun, Shion-chan. We're going downstream. Would you like to come with us? No, I couldn't get in your way. Please take your time. Shion waved her hand to them with an expression just impish as Takano's. Tomotaki-san on his part seemed to want us to come, but whatever. Shion gave a big stretch and sat down on the stone steps. I'm pretty worn out. Same here. I'm exhausted too. Kei-chan, this is your first one to Nagashi, isn't it? You go on, I don't mind. I'm tired, so I'd like to stay away from the crowd. Yeah, if we were to go now, we'd barely slip into the end of the cotton drifting ceremony. My sister and your other friends might be looking for you, too. Go on. Yeah, right. They've been by with themselves ever since we got separated. I feel bad if they're still looking for me. Then Shion suddenly gave a playful look on her face and put her index finger to her lips, as if to keep telling me to keep this a secret. My sister's the type to get really jealous. If she knew I was hogging you this whole time, she'd never let me hear the end of it. So keep tonight a secret, okay? Keep tonight a secret? Don't say things that are so embarrassing. Not only because of that, either. That's what we're doing tonight. We really need to keep it a secret. Oishiro-sama's curse might happen tonight, and we four would be the prime candidates. Yeah, about that. The loose threads of tension began to taut again. Shion, however, burst into laughing. Alright, I'm gonna get out of here before I run into my sister. I'm really tired. I don't have to endure to put up with her anyway. I can't tell if you get along with her or not. We get along. Though the way she said that, her vague impression, saying there's a lot of oddities in the relationship between the twins. I'm an only child, so I really don't get it. Make sure you get along with her, okay? Right, thank you kindly for your meddling. Okay, I'm going to go now. Keep hurrying if you want to make it, Keiichi-chan. Watangashi is really about to end. Shion stood up and brushed the dust off her backside. After watching her do so, I returned my eyes to the final ceremony of the Watangashi festival below me. Seriously, though, what was that sound anyway? It's kind of unpleasant and creepy. Huh? What sound? The sound! You know, the banging sound. It was really loud, wasn't it? I was giving her a blank expression, so Shion stared at me hard. I stared at her, too. Sorry, Shion, could you give me a short version? What was making the sound? Wait, Kei-chan, it didn't bother you? When all said and done, it was like we were speaking two different languages. Shion, explain it to me without jokes from the beginning, will you? What's this about a noise? Kei-chan, quit joking around, too. Really, honestly, didn't bother you? Neither of us was giving any ground. Both of us were staring at her in disbelief. That is interesting. If you remember, she said she saw something in one of the cages in the earlier scene, but Keiichi didn't see anything, and Takano flat out dismissed it. Now she's saying there was sound, and Keiichi doesn't remember there being a sound. That's very interesting. We're answering each other's questions, more questions, no sign of actual conversation in sight. Baffled, I held on the urge to shout at her and asked politely one more time. I'm gonna ask one more time, okay? I'll ask the questions. Shion nodded silently. Okay, here it goes. You said there was a sound. What are you talking about? The banging sound. It was like a kid jumping up and down on the floorboard somewhere far away. It really didn't bother you? There was nothing to be bothered by. When did you hear this? I never heard anything. Wait, Kei-chan, are you serious? Well, that's a possibility. It could be something else, too. Like someone could have really been there. Or she could be hallucinating. Or, yeah, it could be she's seeing something. Maybe. You'll see. Shion, as if she didn't understand my plain, simple answer, pressed me further. Her explanation is serious. I have no clue what she's talking about, but if Shion acting like this, whatever it was, gave me the creeps and sent chill down my spine. It was a while we were looking around the inside of the ritual storehouse of Takano. About the time she started hearing her stories, I think it was. Little by little, louder and louder. Off and on. She heard a banging sound like a child jumping on the distant floorboards. That can't be true. Don't start trying to scare me after all that. I didn't hear anything at all. In fact, it was so utterly silent there that my own heartbeat was almost deafening. Please don't try to scare me like that, Kei-chan. It's like something was making noise in time, like with Takano-san's scary stories. I was totally creeped out the whole time. The chill rose from my spine to the back of my head. My blood turned cold as it crawled up my body. When I reached my head, my mind froze over. You and Takano-san weren't paying any attention to it at all, so I pretend not to hear it either, but you heard it right. It happened a bunch of times and it was really loud. Shion's eyes were begging me to tell her I heard it. I had no doubt, however, that my own eyes suggested something entirely different. You've gotta be kidding look. In that storehouse, we were surrounded by brutal ritual tools that looked like they were from another planet, listening to terrifying old stories. The whole time Shion had been hearing a sound that we couldn't hear by herself. Does that make Shion who heard it tremble, or should it make me who didn't hear it tremble? I don't know the answer to that at this time. For now, Shion seemed to have made that decision before I did. What are you laughing about? I really got you, Kei-chan. I was fibbing the whole time. What? Shion laughed
saying how easily scared I was, clapped me on the back. Her smile seemed artificial and actually made me feel worse. After leaving me with 2 or 3 generic diplomatic goodbye phrases, she left almost like she was running away. All I could do was look after her, my mouth agape. At the end of the day, I didn't have a clue what was going on. Shun laughed it off and said she'd been lying, but she couldn't possibly have been lying. Of course not. And now that I think about it, Tomotaki-san said the same thing, didn't he? I could clearly hear some noises like someone jumping up and down. I was getting pretty nervous. Tomotaki said the most neutral party present at the time, and he said he heard something. And that noise, was it real? The banging sounds. Sounds as if a child was... Or Shiro-sama's curse, which happens every year, might happen again tonight. Who knows? It could be she's making it up. It could be she actually heard something. It could be that she was hallucinating. It could be that there was someone actually out there doing things. It wasn't paranormal to begin with. Like, there's all sorts of explanations for what happened there. And Keiichi heard something, but it wasn't the same thing that Shion heard. The most plausible victim candidates were Takano-san, Tomotaki-san, Shion, and me. That is also very true because Tomotaki-san was killed at the very end of the festival in the other arc. And we'll see if that holds true in this one. The bustling of people sounded further away. Also, the Takano character did disappear in the other timeline too. So we'll see if that happens again here. The bustling people sound further away than I would like. The sounds of the insects sound too close for comfort. But that's kind of the point of this story, is there's so many layers of what it could be that makes the mystery all the more enticing. I'm near so much human warmth that I can't ever go back there again. That was the ominous idea that sprouted in my mind. And much like in the other timeline, Keiichi's starting to be a lot more paranoid now. Because in the prior timeline, he was convinced he was going to be a target for whatever the Oishiro curse actually is.
Keiichi, we found you! It was Rika-chan! When I looked around, Mion and the others were there too. Mion sighed, we finally found you! Now can we just find Sadako? Everyone got split up this year. We should make sure we have somewhere to meet afterwards next year. How?
You're right. It's a festival, so we should all be together. I listened to Mion's happy declaration with a little bit of guilt.
Keiichi, did you root for me while I was dancing?
Yeah! I saw it all! You did a great job all the way through. No mistaking it either, you great such and such.
Yeah, that's right. Rika-chan. That didn't count as a mistake.
I tensed up when I realized I made a mistake of my own. Mion slapped a hand on my shoulder a little roughly. A gross sweat broke out over my whole body.
Did you do it too, Keiichi-chan? Did you get some cotton and send it down the stream?
You have it, right? Is that what I could feel her saying? Without the courage to tell her any more lies, I lifelessly shook my head.
Huh? You haven't, Keiichi-kun? You should go now or it'll be over. It'll be over!
Sorry. This was my first Higarashi, so I don't really understand the rules and stuff.
That's right.
I'm so sorry. Mion took my hand. We started walking down the stone steps.
Hey, Kei-chan?
What?
Did you see Shion?
My heart skipped another beat. Maybe Mion could sense my surprise through my hand. No, well, I sort of saw her. You look so alike, so I might have been you. You wouldn't have gotten that wrong. We're wearing different clothes. Oh, that's right. Mion's momentary silence was like a death grip on me.
I just can't do anything about that Shion. Well, it's her. It's her we're talking about, so we can just leave her be. Mion's expression returned to her former usual smile and continued down the steps, first firmly pulling my hand along. Yay, new tips. Plumbing the depths. Discovered what's in the storehouse. Here we go. More scrapbooks. Oh, are these her scrapbooks? Is that what's going on? Watangashi. The rite of Watangashi is performed during a village festival every June. Even now, it's reading back to its origins turns up a serious sanguine ceremony. Originally, Watangashi would happen at fixed intervals after receiving Oshiro-sama's trust. They chose a sacrifice, then the entire village would kidnap, demon away the person, and ceremonially dissect and devour them in a feast. The rules that determine the intervals are shrouded in mystery. This is because the ceremonies occurred extremely irregularly. There's a theory it's determined based on the astrological fortune-telling, but it isn't too convincing. The residents of the ancient Onigafuchi village firmly believed they were half man, half demon. Transcendence, they were more valuable than humans were, and they forced people within without to accept it. Perhaps the act of kidnapping and eating people was done to prove that they were higher up on the food chain. This is just a hypothesis, but maybe the rite of the Watangashi was a political event for purposes of either being outlet for and outright diverting the attention of the village of the isolated Onigafuchi village. In case any of these complaints are actually too serious, that was the main reason these ceremonies were held, and it's easy to explain how erratic they were. Well, there's definitely something going on with the twins. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it is quite the story. That's why the twins are kind of my favorite characters of the game. And show, and story, and so on. There's a reason why I consider them my favorites. Legend importance of the implements. I can't find anything that gives a concrete description of what the ritual implements were like. They were, however, real, and there definitely exists a multitude of different kinds. One source states that the implements were used in Watangashi rite alone numbered 200. The obvious question then was why they required such a myriad of them. The rite of the Watangashi was to kidnap people through demoning ways, dissecting them and then eating them. I believe the tools were dissection and restraining, but 200 of them is far too many. Generally, tools evolve in such ways to reach a solution for a certain problem. Once you've reached the ultimate goal, that is, attaining a certain level of efficiency, the tool's evolution normally stops there. Regardless, why would they just create so many different kinds? One of the cultural elements responsible for diversification over time is that of entertainment. Tools used for entertainment would evolve over time and branch out. Unlike normal tools, which reaching the ultimate goal would be more dead-end, in searching for the next goal, they would split into many different subtypes. So then perhaps it's not just a stretch to suggest that these 200-plus implements have some entertainment value? This is just a hypothesis, of course. Maybe the human dissection process was used as a type of entertainment. The three families of old would develop one new implement dissection tool after another, and each would varied, novel, and attract spectators to keep them from growing bored. It's not unimaginable. All of them have been enshrined within the storehouse. It isn't much longer until the night of the Watangashi. Though his original intent has been lost, I will reveal the secrets of the traditional ceremony night within the ritual house. I can't restrain my excitement. Watangashi cannot come soon enough. After Festival. Who's after Festival? Late that night, tensions in the police station were strained. In the silence of many staff members' eyes shifted back and forth between the clock and their telephones, counting the seconds of that stifled atmosphere. Kumagaya-kun burst in with a young guy trailing behind him. Oya-san, I have the autopsy reports. The court physician just got here. I'm ready to go, sir. I'll head straight to Gifu. Kuma-chan, things are gotten a bit complicated. They appear to have having a difficult time determining who the victim is. They been dismembered? Nope. Cooked to a nice light brown. He spoke in a sportive tone, but the meaning behind his words were heavy. The staff gave a collective sigh. All the way head to toe? Completely blackened, it seems. Probably smells terrible, too. A shame. It is to be Gifu-san. Cooked with no possessions? Then discarded outside the prefecture? At worst, it could have taken weeks for the body to be identified. The fact they sniffed out tonight was huge. Komaga Yamakun, a few of the others are performing a thorough night raid of dentist in Okunomiya. All we know hope is a tooth matches some of the medical records. Sorry. So, boxes of ultra mild? The young guy answered an affirmation, darted out into the hallway. We did an excellent job finding it this year. It could be the people who disappeared in the past years were scattered outside the prefecture like this too. Then why not bury them, or sink them in the Sea of Japan, or like Biwa, or somewhere like that? Why though? Hasn't the pattern so far been one person dies and another disappears? Kuma-chan, the corpse was inside an oil drum, understrained and cooked. They probably burned them after strangling them. They knew it'd be found. What you mean is, from the beginning, they didn't want a person to disappear this year. Not so much that they just aren't related. The person didn't disappear. In fact, Brigitte seemed to have wanted to make a show of it. You mean it could be a warning? He folded his arms and then heaved a long, heavy sigh. That might have been the case. It hasn't happened in town. But they messed up taking the victim far away. Burning them alive wouldn't have been noticed. So they meant it as a warning that they should have done closer to Misawa. They want to emphasize the fact that they killed the victim. Instead of doing a somewhat dramatic effect, they did it outside the prefecture. You want to emphasize it or hide it? Boy, I do wonder what Oyoshiro-sama is up to this year. A telephone ring cuts through the heavy silence. A staff member nearby snatches up the receiver. Oishi-san, it's Komayama-san. They have it. The dental clinic Okayama fixed wisdom tooth 3 years ago. What about the records? Complete with x-rays. Well, I feel bad for waking up the dentist before dawn. Kuma-chan, get out here as soon as you can and get the records for Komayama-san-kun. Will do. Oh, it's Chief. Thank you for coming at this hour. Oishi-san, my apologies for my lateness. What's the situation? Well, it's just getting good, you see. We're all getting fired up. Whoa! Oh, she's a great character. And I will save it here because I need to get dinner started. Or at least a snack. Oh well, that was fun. And don't worry, more scares are coming.